have still left some doubts, there are some doubts left with you, you can raise the hand up and ask us. But initially, let us first start the process, right? So raising hands can be postponed to the towards the end, that if the doubts are left. So here we are. Today's webinar is basically well articulated to make you guys understand that what UPSC has been asking in past few years, what are the sources that are being referred to for those questions, and what are the logics behind those questions, right? So you need to understand this. It will give you an insight into the way UPSC is making their exam, and then it will give you a roadmap that how you can better prepare for this exam. So remember, if you are aiming for 2021 pre, then this is a must watch for you. You just cannot skip it now. Stay tuned, stay glued, and just keep listening to us what we are telling. Every subject teacher will come. As if I teach history, I'm going to start it with history in the past 3 years. What kind of questions have been asked, from where they have been asked, was there some logic behind asking those questions or not, things like this. Then polity teacher will come, economy teacher will come, science teacher will come, geography teacher will come. Every teacher will tell you the logic behind the questions, the sources of those questions, and whatnot, right? This will help you to make a proper plan and strategy for your pre. So here we start with 2018 paper. In 2018, the first question that we find, it is the staple commodities of export by English East India Company from Bengal in the middle of 18th century. It is a static question, right? Static question, nothing from the current as such. In this static question, the answer is there everywhere. D was the answer: cotton, silk, saltpeter, and opium. Now, source and explanation. Let's look at this. The explanation is East India Company formed in Britain for pursuing trade with East Indies in Southeast Asia. It ended up trading mainly with the Indian subcontinent and China. If you remember your modern history, it was British East India Company that stayed back in India, and where the main items of trade were in this subcontinent, Indian subcontinent: cotton, silk, tea, opium, saltpeter, that is potassium nitrate. These were the important things that were available in Indian subcontinent, and they used to buy and sell these things, right? And the sources: NCRT class 8th book, 8th class NCRT book, right? Social science chapter 3, ruling the countryside. You will find the all four things written in that book. The chapter is 3. And then NCRT class 12, heritage crafts, craft traditions of India, chapter 2, colonial rule and crafts. So the static questions are being asked directly from our NCRTs. Then how can you skip the NCRT books? And if you are not reading NCRT books, if you haven't like explored them properly, you haven't made notes out of them, remember, this exam is going to be a tough nut to crack. But if you have devoted your time to NCRTs and have systematically read them, only then this exam becomes easier. Now, what I mean when I say that you need to read your NCRTs systematically. So let me explain this to you guys so that you understand. If you are preparing for this exam without proper coaching, without proper guidance, let this session be a value for you. Let me tell you that how you can make your notes, so that even if you are not going for any coaching, any paid classes, at least you end up making proper notes that can be used in a proper manner when you revise the things, so that when you sit in the exam, you can recall the things easily, right? So never make notes from one book. Never make notes. Why to make notes from one book only when you can make notes from multiple sources? If it is to be read only from one book and to be written, then that book could be highlighted or you can underline the facts. So what I mean by note making: if this is your notebook in which you are going to make your notes, first of all, the most important thing that you need to keep in your mind is always make single source notes, right? Single source notes. Now, what I mean by single source notes, it doesn't mean that I will read only one book and I will make notes. I will make notes at a single place from multiple sources. I have learned few things in my 20 years of teaching for this exam. I have always seen people telling that read one book 10 times instead of reading 10 books one time each, right? If I read a book only once, I cannot remember the facts. But if I read a book 10 times, perhaps I have mugged up the book. I remember the facts from page to page. But the problem is, no single book will ever be suffice for this kind of an exam. So I have to read multiple books. While reading those various books, what I need to do, I have to bring the facts to a single source. When I make one single source after reading multiple books, now there are 10 books that perhaps I read and I made one set of notes for myself. Then if I revise this single source 10 times, what I have ended up doing, 10 books revised 10 times, I am 100% prepared for my exam. And this is something that today we are going to explain you guys. And the analysis that we have made, the PPT that I was showing you beforehand, we will share it with you guys. At the end of the session, it will be shared. But remember, it is only for those who are serious aspirants. So I will be making some announcements in between that how you will acquire this analysis of the paper that our team has made in last about good 20 days. 7-8 teachers were devoted to explore the sources from where the questions were asked. So that entire hard work of 7-8 people will be given to those students who are serious, who will stay throughout the session, will not leave it in between. If you leave it, then you will lose this analysis as a document that we are here to give to our students, right? So the serious aspirants need to stay till the end, and then as a gift for their sincerity, their dedication, we will give this document to them. All right. And when it comes to language, I will try to speak a little of Hindi in between, but maximum part will be in English, right? For most of the time I will be speaking English. In between I will use Hindi. बीच बीच में मैं हिंदी यूज कर दूंगा, लेकिन बहुत सारे लोग जो साउथ इंडिया से साथ जुड़े हैं, it will be very difficult for them if I use lot of Hindi. And to my Hindi friends जो हिंदी भाषा में मेरे से बात करना चाहते हैं, एक मेरा विनम्र सा निवेदन रहेगा, आप लोग थोड़ा प्लीज इस फैक्ट को रियलाइज कर लो, आपके लिए बहुत अच्छा रहेगा. आपको ये याद रखना है कि जो आपका प्रीलियम एग्जाम है, प्रारंभिक परीक्षा जो है, उसमें सी सेट है और सी सेट में अंग्रेजी अनिवार्य है. अगर आप अंग्रेजी से डरते ही रहोगे, भयभीत रहोगे, तो आपका तो प्री क्वालिफाई नहीं होगा. तो फिर मेंस की तो बात ही छोड़ देते हैं. और चलो किसी तरह अगर आप मेंस में पहुंच गए, तो मेंस में भी तो अंग्रेजी का जो पेपर है वो लाजमी है ना, आपको पास करना ही करना है, कंपलसरी पेपर है. तो आप इंग्लिश से इतना डरते क्यों हो यार? ट्राई किया करो कि इंग्लिश के साथ थोड़े फेमिलियर हो जाओ, ठीक है? आपके लिए ये बहुत सिंसियर एडवाइस है, हर बार हम इसी बात के ऊपर लड़ते रहते हैं, थोड़ा ट्राई करो. ऑलराइट, सो ओके, सो हाउ यू गोना मेक द नोट्स? नाउ लेट मी एक्सप्लेन दैट टू यू गाइस. नोट्स कैसे बनाए जाएंगे एक बार वो समझते हैं. लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल कि मैं एंशिएंट इंडिया के नोट्स बनाने लगा हूं. एंशिएंट इंडिया. नाउ व्हाट इज द सिलेबस? इट इज ancient and medieval history and culture. So it is not just about one thing, it is about multiple things, right? You need to know the political narrative. जो political events हुए आपको वो भी पता हो. And the cultural aspect of India's past, you need to know both, right? Political as well as cultural. Now, when I have to make my notes, how I will make my notes? There is 6th class NCRT, new NCRT I am talking about, NCRT of class 6, which is, the name of the book is Our Past Part 1, right? This is class 6 NCRT. Then there is 12th class new NCRT, which is Themes in Indian History, Part 1, Then there is another book of class 11, right? The book is Fine Arts. All right. Now, these are three basic books from where we will start the journey. When I read class 6, for example, I find Mauryas for my political narrative. I find Buddhism and Jainism for my cultural narrative. Similarly, in class 12, I will find a chapter on Mauryas as well as on Buddhism and Jainism. Then when I will pick up the book of class 11, the fine arts, even in this book, I will find Mauryan art and architecture and Buddhist or Jain art and architecture. Now, before I start writing things from these three different books, what I need to do, let me first read the sixth class NCRT. Let me first choose the topic. Let's say I'm starting with Buddhism. I will underline the important facts of Buddhism in class 6. Then, keeping this book in front of me, I will read class 12th book. Same topic, Buddhism, Jainism, and I will underline the new facts which have not been told in class 6. Now, these two books have been synced, right? I have understood them and I highlighted all the important facts. Then I will pick up class 11 book. Class 11 book, Fine Arts. I will go to the topics where the art and architecture of Buddhism and Jainism has been explained. Now, once I have read all the three books, now I will make first note in my notebook. So, how I will make this note? What I'm gonna do is I will keep my notebook open. On one side, I will write, and the next page, the page facing the page on which I am writing, I will leave it blank. Here I will write all the notes of Buddhism, right? Like origin of Buddhism, teachings of Buddhism. Then I will write spread of Buddhism, and then summits of Buddhism, councils of Buddhism, then impact of Buddhism, and art and architecture of Buddhism. I have written all these facts on this side of the notebook. It may end up in 10 pages or 15 pages. I have written it all. Now, I will go to old NCRT because even old NCRTs are very important. I will show you that they keep asking questions from old NCRTs as well. So there is only one book now, old NCRT, which is R.S. Sharma sir's book. I will read this book. Now, if I find any new fact which was not there in the new NCRT, I will add it on this side, right? I will add it on this side. Then, now, if need be, I can read Nitin Singhania's book. Nitin Singhania's book for Indian culture. When you will now read this book will not appear to be a very bulky source because almost 50% of it you guys have already covered through your NCRTs. But now when you read this book, it will be more like a revision of what you have read. And if you find anything new, add it on this side. There is a lot of space here, so you can add the facts on this side. Now, what you have done is you have read three new NCRTs, you have read the old NCRT, you have read Nitin Singhania. 5 books have already been read for your ancient Indian history, topic by topic, obviously. And similarly, it will be class 7 and 12, part 2 for your medieval India, class 8 and 12th, part 3 for your modern India. And you will add your culture from Nitin Singhania. As you did with R.S. Sharma, you will do with Satish Chandra for medieval India and Bipin Chandra for modern India. So for history, you read old NCRTs, new NCRTs, and you read the book given by Nitin Singhania. Now, when you people are told by many of your fellow students who are preparing for this exam that you must read Spectrum written by Rajiv Ahir for modern India, yes, you can read it. It will be a revision again. It will be nothing new now because you have already read the new NCRT and the old NCRT. So whatever you will read in Spectrum, it will be nothing but a revision. And in case you find a new fact, a couple of new facts, you can put them here on the blank page. So you are bringing all the sources at a single place, and while doing it, you are revising the things multiple times. Now, this revision is what we mean serious preparation. Just reading a thing once is not preparing for this exam, right? So when you read multiple times, only then you prepare for this exam to bring some, like to ensure some result. So once this note is prepared, now revise it multiple times. From this, your handwritten notes, now revise them multiple times. All the books are already there. You need not keep all the books together. It is your own notes. While making these notes, you have already revised them. You have brought all the sources together. Now, when you revise them couple of times more, the things will start running with your blood. You will never forget. You will remember this is the statement that I write in Bipin Chandra. This is a statement I found in NCRT, old or perhaps the new NCRT. So this is the way you guys have to make notes. Now, the most important thing that you need to add here, very important thing that you need to add, Nandita Raj, if you do not even know that R.S. Sharma is for history as well, Ram Sharan Sharma, and you say it is for mathematics, I suppose you must not prepare for this exam, right? The diehard student need to know this, that R.S. Sharma is for ancient India. And I suppose mathematics, it is R.D. Sharma and not R.S. Sharma. If I'm not wrong, guys, please tell me that. All right. So this is how you guys will make notes. Now, and a very important thing, we were making notes, let's say, for instance, we are making notes for Buddhism, Jainism. Then we read our newspapers regularly while we prepare for this exam. We read our newspapers. Now, when we read the newspapers, let's say there is a news or there is some editorial which relates with Buddhism, Jainism. Perhaps someone writes about a particular event or a particular structure or a monument or anything related with Buddhism or Jainism. There is a new light on it, right? So why to make some separate notes that these are my current affair notes? If I read something related to Buddhism and if it relates to its art and architecture, bring it here, right? When you bring it here, now you know that some aspect of Buddhism or Jainism is in news these days. Because it is in news, there is more chance of it being asked in either pre or mains. So whenever you add anything from newspaper or magazine, make sure that you revise the entire topic, not just the news. Because what UPSC is expected to do, they may ask a question from the current affairs, but while asking a question and making those four options, they may use some of the static facts written at different places on the same page. So revise the entire topic and not just the current affair, right? So if somebody at the start is asking me, how can we manage reading so many books? Then this is a wake up call. If you cannot manage to read all the books, please go for some notes or preferably some classes. See, I'm not selling any class here. I'm not saying that please enroll for my course or any course. What I'm trying to make you guys understand, we need to understand that if we do not have that much of time, if we do not have that much of expertise, that yes, I can make my own notes reading multiple books and then revise them multiple times. So what the better option can be? Yes, go for some classes or buy some notes and then revise them multiple times. If I tell you about our notes, how we prepared our notes, we read all these sources. After reading all these sources, we prepared a book, right, for every topic, be it history, be it polity, economy, sciences, ethics, culture, whatever it is, right? We have got some good 14, 15 books. Now, these books are updated every 6 months. And then when you sit in a class, something that is missing in the book, teacher make you write it inside the book itself. So that when you revise it, you have your single source from where you revise your notes. So this is how we teach, right? Perhaps everyone tries to teach in the same manner. So coaching is not something that is mandatory or necessary. Yes, it is desirable because it reduces the effort, it reduces the time, and give us more space to revise the things instead of doing it all together independently and putting more energy, taking more time. We can reduce the effort. That is it, nothing more than it. Now, when we talk about that Tamil Nadu NCRTs, here I would like to request all the students to be patient and attentive. Instead of texting, let me explain the things. See, if I would be telling you about Tamil Nadu book, even if nobody is writing it, I will tell it. So let us wait till the end of the topic, that if there is any doubt left, you ask me, sir, we have heard about this book or that book, Is it to be read or not? If I end up telling you beforehand, then you will perhaps believe that they are the people who know the business. They are the people who know that what is to be read and what is not to be read. And perhaps that can create that trust which can encourage you to take that leap of faith with us, right? So let's have a let's wait for a while. Let me explain the things. So when we talk about Tamil Nadu book, it is good, it is important, but not all the chapters. I don't think we need to read anything about Harappa, about Vedic age, about Mahajanpadas from Buddhism, from Tamil Nadu books. Perhaps for even Buddhism, Jainism, I don't think that we need to read much from these Tamil Nadu books. Yes, when it comes to Sangam age, when it comes to Cholas, Chiras, Pandyas, Rashtrakutas, Pallavas, their art and architecture, Chola local administration, Bhakti movement in South India. This is very important. I must refer to South India book, Tamil Nadu book. And what I have to do, I have already made my notes. I will bring the Tamil Nadu facts into the same notebook, right? Something that is missing in new NCRT or old NCRT or Nitin Singhania, if it is missing, I will bring it into the same notes from Tamil Nadu book. When I go to medieval India, again, not all the chapters for Mughals, for Delhi Sultanate. No, I need not read the Tamil Nadu book. What I will read from Tamil Nadu book, it will be Vijayanagar Empire, Bahamni Kingdom, right? I will like Bhakti movement. For Sufism, I will not rely more on the Tamil Nadu book. Rather, I will rely more on new NCRTs. For Bhakti movement, for Sufi movement, for foreign travelers, I will rely more on new NCRTs. If you see the past few years papers, you will yourself realize, yes, the more information is there in new NCRTs, which is being asked by UPSC instead of Tamil Nadu books. So Tamil Nadu books can add some facts, not all the facts required for this exam. So the intent should here be start with new NCRTs. First point should be new NCRTs. Then add old NCRTs, right? So first source will be new NCRTs, then old NCRTs, then the popularly recommended books like Nitin Singhania or Spectrum for Modern India. Then you can put some facts from Tamil Nadu books, but only important topics. And you need to know that not all the topics are important. For preparation of such a prestigious and such a highly competitive exam, the most important thing is not to know what is to be read from where. The most important thing is to know what is not to be read from which source, right? So that we are not ending up wasting our time and energy reading the facts which are redundant, which are not required, perhaps which are never asked in the exam, and we end up making notes on them. That wastage of time and energy, that's the most dreadful thing. I believe that people who waste their time while making notes, they are the ones who basically are delaying their selection. They are intentionally delaying their selection, right? And then add from newspapers and magazines. That is it. So these are the 5 important sources. This is how you have to prepare. And when Amit Khatri asked me, sir, what are the topics that I need to focus on for Prelim 2020? Amit, that is why this session is. I'm telling you that static questions are there, something that is not in newspapers, and you cannot predict. It is unpredictable public service commission. UPSC is unpredictable. You cannot go and say that okay, questions will come from only the static part or questions will come only from current affairs. There is always a mix match, and there is always disproportionate change. There can be more questions on current affairs, there can be more questions on static part. So you have to prepare everything. You cannot keep, or you cannot leave things to chance. But how you prepare them, how you focus on some of the core issue areas of static part, you can understand from newspapers. That is why I explained you that newspapers are to be added to your static part. And when you add anything from newspaper to the static part, remember, revise the entire note, not just that part. All right. I hope up to this point you guys have understood how you have to make notes. Now let's come back to the topics that have been asked in the paper in the past. For the first question of 2018, I have shown that these were asked from class 8th and class 12th NCRT books. You will find all the questions there. अकरम आप A4 पे कर लो, A2 पे कर दो, A3 पे कर दो, पेज का साइज तो कभी मैटर ही नहीं करेगा, कंटेंट मैटर करेगा. Pooja, if you think that you do not have that sufficient time, that is where we come handy. That is where we are no magicians. We cannot make you IAS. Yes, we can reduce the burden. We can save your time, your energy. We can give you something ready made. Then it is all your hard work. It is all your determination. We can only help you. What we can be the guides, we can be the motivators, we can keep you focused, but the effort, the hard work, the determination, it has to come from your side. All right, so moving ahead, then there was the second question in 2018. Here it is: which one of the following is a very significant aspect of Champaran Satyagraha? Right, active all India participation of lawyers, students, and women in national movement, active involvement of Dalit and tribal communities of India in national movement, joining of peasant unrest to India's national movement, and drastic decrease in the cultivation of plantation crops and commercial crops. So the answer was C, joining of peasant unrest to India's national movement in a very organized manner. Now, let us try to see its explanation and source. So the explanation is here Gandhi ji for the first time came as a national leader to take up the cause of the peasant who were being forced to plant indigo, to grow indigo, right? And see this fact, where we find the fact, it is again 12th class NCRT chapter 13, Gandhi and nationalist movement. Now, I hope you will gain more confidence and you will realize that how important the NCRTs are. But again, remember, the all the statements are not given at one place. You have to extract the facts from different books of NCRTs, old, new, Tamil Nadu, add some more facts from static books, the recommended books, and then add more facts from newspaper, current affairs. Once you do all this, only then the complete notes are prepared, and once you have those complete notes, only then you can believe that you have made the right effort, you have prepared the right notes, and then only it will be possible that you can click most of the questions right. So this is something that is very crucial for all of us to understand. Now let us have a look at the third question here. This is question 1. These slides are running very fast because they understand even students will be feeling little blocked for quite some time. So here, who among the following were the founders of Hind Mazdoor Sabha established in 1948? Right. So the answer is Ashok Mehta, T.S. Ramalum, and Gigi Mehta. So explanation is simple, but from where did this question come? So look at this. It is from NCRT class 12 sociology book, not from history book. It seems to be a history question, but it was asked from sociology book, Social Change and Development in India, chapter 3, The Story of Democracy. Look, now history question comes through sociology book, and how many people preparing for GS will be reading this sociology book? Very few of us. So please try understand the importance of NCRTs and try understand the effort that some teacher can put in your preparation. We know, yes, questions can be asked from this book. We know question can be asked from that book. We prepare our notes keeping all those books in mind, right? We try to cater to you a complete set of notes so that when you read them, you do not find things vague, you do not find things unexplainable, you are not left to guess the things, you are prepared for this exam. This is how we basically teach at Raj IAS. Every teacher makes tremendous efforts to prepare the notes, to analyze the previous exams. We keep updating ourselves so that when we go in a class, we should give the best to the student, right? This is how we prepare our notes. Ansari, there are no cheat books. If someone is telling you that there are any sort of cheat books, they are cheating you, right? That's cheating with you. There are no such cheat books. Everybody would have used them and everybody would have ended up being an IAS. There is no such thing as cheat books. What you are talking about, I'm sorry. So here we are. With reference to the religious practices in India, the Saraswati sect belongs to, yes, the answer is Jainism. From where we get this information? See, now look at this. Times of India newspaper, there was an article about Jainism in it before this exam, right? In the Times of India, there was an article from which we get this term, right? So people usually end up reading either The Hindu or Express or magazines like Frontline or perhaps something like 365 or something like that. But this information was available nowhere in these sources, and nothing of this sort was there in any of the static books. But UPSC has not recommended any particular newspaper, any particular magazine. They basically are for open sources. That is why when we prepare our notes, we always read maximum sources, maximum open sources, and then we prepare our notes. And our notes are not meant as only notes. They are always, you know, available to the students who are sitting in our classes, so that we can always improve the notes in the class. Let's take an example. You were in my class, you are sitting in my class today, and the books were printed 2 months ago. Now, where there will be the new economic survey facts, and from where I can put the budget facts in that economics book. So the teacher inside the class will tell you, see, these facts are important from this year's economic survey and budget. So please change the facts and figures in your book so that you know the new facts. But while making those new facts being added into your notes, your teacher will be telling you, they can even ask you questions on the previous budget or economic survey. So please don't delete the old facts, add the new facts. And remember that this is something that was there in last year's budget, and this is how the things have changed. And similarly for economic survey. So you have to understand that our notes synced with classes make it a complete set, right? So I will not uprightly come and say anyone go for our notes. No, they will not serve the purpose. Either you make your own notes or you sit in our class, anybody's class whom you can trust, whom you can rely upon. And if somebody is telling me that the picture is not clear, in that case you have to set your system right, because there are more than 800 900 people watching it live, and not many of them are complaining, right? Now here is another question. Let's have a look at it. With reference to the cultural history of India, consider the following statement. White marble was used in Mughal Buland Darwaza and Khanka at Fatehpur Sikri. Red sandstone and marble were used in making Bara Imam Bara and Rumi Darwaza at Lucknow. Which of the following is true? Answer is one only. What is the explanation and what is the source? Let us have a look at that. The source, remember, NCERT class 12, history, theme, chapter 9, Kings and Chronicles. Direct statement, one, but not all, one. Then NCERT class 7, social science, chapter 4, Mughal Empire. Then NCERT class 7, social sciences, chapter 7, rulers and buildings. NCERT class 7, social sciences, chapter 10, political formations. You have to extract 4 different facts from 4 different chapters and put them together. Only then it makes sense, right? Reading books in isolation and making notes isolated will never serve the purpose for this exam. All right? They will never serve the purpose for this exam. Let's have a look at the next question, and you will find it very easy to understand that what sources UPSC is using these days, right? You will feel more comfortable, more confident, and once you see that the way we have analyzed the papers, you will yourself feel that yes, they are the people who understand what UPSC is doing. So have a look at question 8. Which of the following statements does not apply to the system of subsidiary alliance introduced by Lord Wellesley? We all know it was in 1798 that Lord Wellesley introduced the subsidiary alliance system. We all remember the fact that Hyderabad, Nizam of Hyderabad was the first to sign it. But look at the things that they asked. To maintain a large standing army at other expense. True. Yes, that is true. To keep India safe from Napoleonic danger. Yes, Wellesley was saying so. See, this is 1798. It is a time when the French Revolution is now reaching a place where Napoleon is coming to rule, and Napoleon is trying to expand the empire, Napoleonic Empire. He's trying to fight against all other powers, and he has come to a point where he is going to attack the British interest. So they believe that through Afghanistan he may enter into, after Russia he may enter into India, and Wellesley was taking it as an excuse to secure a fixed income for company. It is not true to that an extent. To establish British paramount power over Indian states, yes, this is true. And the source, simple, NCERT class 8, social sciences chapter 2, from trade to territory, the company establishes power, and NCERT class 12, history chapter of theme 11, rebels and the Raj. This is how you prepare for this, right? Every teacher will tell you the sources, every teacher will explain you the logics behind the question. So far the questions that we have seen, they are of static nature, they are coming from NCERT, but for that one on Jainism, that came from Times of India, and we never read that newspaper because we have never been told. We have been told to read the Hindu, the Express, Vision, things like this. All right, so here is, he wrote biographies of Mazzini, Garibaldi, Shivaji, and Shri Krishna, stayed in America for some time, and was also elected to the Central Assembly. He was, who was he? He was Lala Lajpat Rai. Now, where in NCERT you find these kind of questions? Nowhere. From where it came during that year? What was the source? The source was PIB. PIB, right? In 2016, this information was there in PIB, Press Information Bureau. They were talking about Lala Lajpat Rai and all these things, right? So from there they made a question. It is not a static question coming from NCERT. In NCERT all these facts are missing, but yes, from PIB you have to add these facts. How you have to add these facts? Remember, you are making notes. This is your notebook. Somewhere you have written about Lala Lajpat Rai. Now there is a blank space. You read PIB, you find something related to Lala Lajpat Rai, add the facts on the blank space. And then once you read it in newspaper, now remember Lala Lajpat Rai is in news, so all things related with him are important. Revise the static as well as the current part. This is how you prepare for this exam. Shibu, everyone wants to be. The hardworking people can live the dream, others will continue dreaming only. Now let's jump few questions and look at some of the other questions asked. For example, this is a question, 16th question. With the reference to educational institutions during British rule in India, consider the following statement. So who made the Sanskrit College, Calcutta Madrasa, Fort William, right? So there, you know what they did? They used the word Arthur Wellesley. Arthur Wellesley was never the Governor General of India. It was Richard Wellesley. But in most of the books, they will always write only Wellesley, Lord Wellesley. They will never write Arthur Wellesley. How will you remember this fact? When you are reading your world history, you will come to know that Arthur Wellesley was the one who was fighting against Napoleon in Waterloo. Then what he's doing as Governor General of India, right? So then you can make up your mind that yes, this is wrong. It is not Arthur Wellesley. It has to be something else. So here the second part is only correct, right? And what is the source of this information? It comes from NCERT book, class 8, Social Science, chapter 7, Civilizing the Native, Educating the Nation. So this is the source from which you get all these important facts. I hope now you guys are feeling a little more comfortable and confident that yes, someone is there to tell us today that what sources are there, how they are to be used. Harshit, without looking at your questions, I suppose I'm already answering every question. So isn't it being interactive? That's something that perhaps is in your mind. A teacher is telling you before you ask the teacher. Am I right, guys? So here is another question. Let's have a look at it. So regarding Wood's dispatch, we all know it was about education. Charles Wood was there who brought it, right? It was during the time of Lord Dalhousie. It is believed to be Magna Carta of education. We have read all this in NCRT. Which of the following statements are true? Grants in aid system was introduced. Establishment of universities was recommended. Remember, after this in 1857, Bengal, Calcutta University, Madras University, Bombay universities were established, right? Then English as a medium of instruction at all levels of education was recommended. Which of these are true? 1 and true. 3 is not true. They did not recommend it. They did not recommend that English should be the only medium of instruction. Now, what is the source for this question? Let's have a look at it. The source is NCRT, Class 8, Social Science, Chapter 7, Civilizing the Native, Educating the Nation. I hope it is now quite relieving. It is like taking away the stress that from where the questions are being asked, how important are NCRTs. Guys, if you are feeling relaxed, if it is giving you some sort of confidence, please let me know. If it is helping you guys making like understanding the things and it is adding some value to what you want to know, what you already knew. So here's a small announcement because some of the people have texted me on YouTube as well. So there is a small information. Yes, we are planning a very comprehensive prelim course for 2020. A very comprehensive prelim course for 2020, which is going to be not a very long course. It is going to be a 75 days course. 75 days in which there will be a 4 hours class every day, in which similarly we have made analysis for 2021. We have read all the sources, be it NCRTs, be it advanced book, be it all the newspapers, magazines, PIB, and we have prepared our notes. As we were telling you, we have prepared it for 2021. This 75 days course in which there will be 4 hours class every day. It is GS as well as CSAT. You know what happened? People ignore CSAT, and then by a margin of a mark or two, even if they are qualifying their GS, they could not get call for main because they could not qualify CSAT. So we are not leaving even CSAT to a chance. GS CSAT batch together, we are starting it from 22nd of Feb. It's a 75 days course. Along with the course, there is an elaborate test series. Elaborate test series. Now, whatever test series is, it cannot be more than 20 or 30 tests for GS, right? We understand that. So every institution can provide you 2000 to 3000 questions, which we are also providing. So what is different? The first difference is we are preparing proper notes, right? Analyzing all the sources, making it a comprehensive kind of a course for all of you who are aiming for 2021. I will straight away tell, if you are not aiming for 2021, this course is not meant for you, right? This is only and only for those who are aiming for 2021, right? Even if you haven't started your preparation yet and you are determined that you want to take your attempt in 2021, this is one stop solution for you. Now, along with these 2-3,000 questions that everyone will provide, we will provide you 50,000 MCQs for you to practice. Even if you solve 500 questions every day, you cannot use all these questions before you sit for your main, your pre-exam, right? You cannot complete these questions. Why? Because while you will be solving all these questions, we will keep adding more from the current affairs, right? And along with this complete course, we will provide you comprehensive current affair notes and tests separately. Comprehensive current affair notes from multiple sources as well as separate tests for current affairs. So we will give you all that is required for this exam in this 75 days course. The details of this course and the document that is to be shared, that is part of the end of the session. So you have to have some patience, and then I will give you details about the course as well as the way I will be sharing these slides and multiple other things with you. Those who will stay throughout the session will get a beautiful gift from our side. Entire 2020, 365 days, we have summed up in 300 pages. You will get that note today itself if you stay till the end. How you will get it, I will tell at the end, right? So coming back to history questions, let us have a look at a very important question here and then try understand from where they ask it. Now I come to 2019. The question is, with reference to Mughal India, what are the differences between Jagirdar and Zamindar, right? So Jagirdars were holders or land assignments in lieu of judicial and police duties, whereas Zamindars were holders of revenue rights without obligation to perform any duty other than revenue collection. Second point is, land assignments to Jagirdars were hereditary and revenue rights or Zamindars were not hereditary. Fine. Next, select the correct answer using the code below. One only, two only, both, neither. And the answer is neither of these. Why? Now, what is the source and what is the explanation? Let's go to the source first, right? The source for this is your spectrum, right? Spectrum is the source from which you get information about. I'm sorry, I skipped that slide here. Let me come back. I'm sorry. It is not spectrum. This slide is running a little fast for me, who is an old school teacher, who is more habitual of writing on whiteboards. Yes, it is again a static question asked from Themes in Indian History Part 2, Old NCERT Satish Chandra, Medieval India. So we had to read two books, New NCERT and Old NCERT. Together this make the complete whole, whereby we can give answer to this kind of a question. And this is not just a session on history, it is analysis of all the papers, all the sources. History being more a static part, I will be cutting it short. Polity, economy, environment, they are more dynamic things. So the teacher who will now take over after a while, in a minute or two, they will be talking about the current affairs sources from which the questions were asked. So here with history, what I had to explain is most of the questions have been asked from not spectrum but NCERTs, not spectrum but NCERTs. And yes, all our courses are available online as well as offline, online as well as offline. So here I will take a call and ask the polity teacher now to take over from me, because history, I hope now you have understood that most of the questions have come from what? NCERTs. Very few come from spectrum like books. All right. So here there is a break for a minute where even you can have your glass of water or you can use your loo and come back to join the session. Within 1 minute, the next teacher will join us. Thank you, guys.
Hello everyone. Please tell me if I'm audible. Please write yes if I'm audible. Right, wonderful, wonderful. Great. बहुत बढ़िया. Chalo, now let us discuss. Raj sir has discussed. Mridul, I'll get to your question. Don't worry, Mridul. I'll get to your question. Don't worry. Raj sir has discussed with you with regard to history, and with regard to history, Raj sir ने आपसे काफी चर्चा करी है. उसके बाद राज सर ने आपको बताया है कि that how the notes have to be prepared, how Raj sir will or how our team has prepared the notes and everything. Raj sir has told you, right? So we will get to the part of polity, right? We'll get to the part of polity. Now, what has to be understood with perspective of polity is that when we talk about polity, two things have to be kept in mind. First thing is that polity is one particular subject in which you can garner maximum marks, right? many of the times whoever prepares for UPSC, they think that polity is their forte. In polity वो marks garner कर सकते हैं, polity में वो marks ले सकते हैं, और ये बात बिल्कुल सच है. ठीक है, वो होता है ना सत्य वचन, ये सत्य वचन है कि पॉलिटी आपको सबसे ज्यादा नंबर दिलवाता है, राइट, और पॉलिटी विल गेट यू और हेल्प यू गेट मैक्सिमम मार्क्स. बट द पॉइंट सर हियर इज that how you have to prepare the polity or how you have to prepare polity. Reading Lakshmikant multiple times, is that the right track? I will say yes and no, right? Because revising one source again and again is good, but how you are revising that source? Are you reading the relevant material? Are you focusing or following those portions which are relevant for that year? That is very important, sir, right? So I hope you understand. So now what we will discuss primarily is that what are the questions that has been asked by UPSC, right? Second thing that we are going to discuss, or second thing that we are going to discuss with regard to this is that उस साल ऐसी कौन सी चीज न्यूज में थी, what was in news that very year that UPSC asked us that question. Because whenever we talk about polity, what has to be kept in mind, whenever we talk about polity, what has to be kept in mind is primarily this particular thing that UPSC asks about static questions. UPSC asks about static questions, but those static portions are picked, or those static topics are picked by UPSC which are in news, right? Which are in news, those only topics are picked. ऐसा नहीं है कि UPSC वो पर्चियां डालता है कि अच्छा जी आज करेंगे कि इस पे सवाल आएगा, नहीं, ना ही वो बचपन में करते ना अक्कड़ बक्कड़ बम्बे वो. दैट इज नॉट हाउ UPSC plays. UPSC plays very simple things. UPSC says that these are the questions, these are the issues that are in news. So now let us see that how the UPSC is asked the questions and how can we prepare so that we can crack our prelims in 2021. Chalo. Now the first question that has been asked by UPSC in 2018 is, consider the following statements. Consider the following statements that in the first Lok Sabha, the largest opposition party was Swatantra Party. Second thing is about the leader of opposition, and that it was first time recognized in 1969. And third is that if the party does not have minimum members of 75. Now, you will get the answers, right? As Raj sir has told you that you will get the PDFs. Raj sir has told you will get the notes. But I am here not to discuss every question. I am here to tell you how UPSC picks. That very year, why leader of opposition was important, because that very year the Lokpal was to be picked. Now Lokpal was not being selected by the government, Lokpal was not being appointed by the government. The petition, the PAL, was filed in Supreme Court. The government responded that year that, sir, there is no leader of opposition, that is why we are not electing, or that is why we are not appointing the Lokpal. So the entire debate went around that what is leader of opposition, how leader of opposition is being elected. So that is why UPSC asked these questions. That is why UPSC asked this question regarding leader of opposition. Right, Meghna, I'll get to your question. Don't worry. In the end, I'll get to your question. Right. So UPSC asked this question on this purpose, that because it was in news that very year, and it was the matter also went to the Honorable Supreme Court. Right. So the single largest party in the first election was CPI. Right. The second statement is correct, and it is basically that leader of opposition, the party should have minimum of 1/10 seats. That is, we are talking about 55 members. That means we are talking about 55 members. So the point comes, sir, that from where this question came. So this question came from class 12th NCERT of political science, that is era of one party dominance. And second thing is that it is basically established in the class, it is told in the class, and everyone basically knows, if you read the class notes also properly, that if you read class notes also properly, that leader of opposition, how he is appointed, how he is elected, and what are the basic criteria behind that. So the first question came from, sir, the purpose of class 12th NCERT, right? If you are understanding, please write yes. From class, Ankit. Ankit from class. You will get the class notes from class. Right. बहुत बढ़िया. Second thing, sir, second question is basically that the Parliament of India can place a particular law in 9th schedule. The validity of law passed by the 9th schedule cannot be examined by any court, and no judgment can be made on it. right? So these are the questions. That is the second question that was asked, right? Now the answer to this question is that first, and that is one only, that the government has the power, the parliament has the power, that the parliament can basically place any law, the government has the power that it can place any law under 9th schedule. So this is absolutely correct. Now the validity of law passed in 9th schedule cannot be examined by any court. So this is wrong, right? As IR Kohilo case, Supreme Court said that आफ्टर केशवंदा भारती केस 1973 जो लॉज डाले गए वो सारे के सारे क्या किए जा सकते हैं, वो सारे के सारे आपके दे कैन बी चेक्ड इन द कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ, राइट? सो नाउ द क्वेश्चन पॉइंट इज फ्रॉम वेयर दिस क्वेश्चन केम, राइट? फ्रॉम वेयर दिस क्वेश्चन केम. So this question comes from your D.D. Basu, that is Introduction to the Indian Constitution. Even it is mentioned in your Sir Lakshmi Kant. It is also mentioned in your Lakshmi Kant. Yes, Akram. Yes, Akram has asked a question that can we basically go for a specific study? No, I'll not say that you can go for a specific study, but yes, you can see that what are the topics in news. Let me tell you one, let me give you one very good example, that freedom of speech and expression is in news. Freedom of press is in news. Center-state relation is in news. So you may see, or there may be a chance that in 2021 prelims, there is a question that may revolve around these topics. Are you getting my point? तो जो इसके आसपास चीज घूमेगी, जो इसके आसपास चीज जाएगी, उससे सवाल आने के चांस बन जाएंगे आपके पॉलिटी के पेपर में, स्टैटिक पार्ट में. Are you getting my point? So this is the third question. Second question. The third question was basically related to आधार. उस साल आधार जो था वो न्यूज में था, ठीक है? सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जजमेंट दी थी, सुप्रीम कोर्ट की जजमेंट आई थी, कोलकाता हाई कोर्ट की जजमेंट आई थी, गवर्नमेंट इस पे बात कर रही थी, तो आधार के ऊपर सवाल आ गया. अब यूपीएससी ने सवाल क्या पूछ लिया? यूपीएससी ने बिल्कुल बेसिक सवाल पूछा करंट में से, दैट आधार कैन बी यूज्ड एज प्रूफ ऑफ सिटीजनशिप और डोमिसाइल. ये कोर्ट ने साफ बोला था, कोर्ट ने साफ बोला था कि जो आधार है दैट इज नॉट द प्रूफ ऑफ सिटीजनशिप. तो आपका आधार वाले पॉइंट जो था ये गलत हो गया. दूसरी चीज पूछी दैट वंस इशूड आधार नंबर कैन नॉट बी डीएक्टिवेटेड और ओमिटेड बाय इशूइंग अथॉरिटी. ये भी गलत है. ये यूआईडीए की पावर है, यूआईडीए कर सकती है. अब मुद्दा फिर कहां पे आ गया? मुद्दा आया ये पूछा कहां से गया, राइट? मुद्दा आया ये पूछा कहां से गया सवाल. सो दिस पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन वाज एंटायरली फ्रॉम योर इकोनॉमिक टाइम्स, राइट? इकोनॉमिक टाइम्स दैट ईयर पब्लिश्ड द आर्टिकल, और उसकी वजह से हमारे सामने ये क्वेश्चन आया, राइट? जैसे राज सर ने आपको बताया कि लोग हम हिंदू के पीछे भागते हैं, हम एक ना सोर्स ढूंढते हैं कि यार कहां से पढ़ा जाए, मिनिमम एफर्ट हो, राइट? मिनिमम एफर्ट के लिए हम पीछे भागते हैं कि यार मिनिमम एफर्ट हो. देखो एफर्ट मिनिमम करनी है, पर एफर्ट स्मार्टली करनी है सर. तो वो स्मार्ट एफर्ट के लिए आपको चाहिए क्या? वो स्मार्ट एफर्ट के लिए आपको समझना है कि यूपीएससी सवाल कैसे पूछता है, और यूपीएससी के क्वेश्चंस को समझने के लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा सर? यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड द प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस. आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? सो नाउ दिस वाज द क्वेश्चन दैट वाज आस्क्ड इन फ्रॉम इकोनॉमिक टाइम्स. नाउ दिस पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन दैट इज आस्क्ड, this question, that is the fourth question, this was with reference to the president, sorry, this was with reference to the, yahan aa gaya question, this is the question, that if president of India exercises power under article 356. Now that year sir, center state relation mein governor's power was in news. Center state relation, the governor's power was in news. तो उसकी वजह से ये सवाल पूछा गया, उसकी वजह से ये सवाल पूछा गया कि यार if ever there is a chance of article 356 that is being imposed, so what will be the power, or then what is out of these statement is correct. Now the first statement says the assembly of the state is automatically dissolved. This is absolutely incorrect. It is not automatically dissolved. It is dissolved only after it is approved by both the houses of the parliament, that is after 2 months. Right? This is a very basic concept, sir. Very, very basic concept regarding understanding of president's rule. If you understand the concept, right? One thing I will make it clear, that in polity, what has to be understood in polity is that concepts are very, very important, right? If you understand the concept, if you are well versed with the concept, then you can very well garner certain marks in polity, right? This is basic concept. that the assembly of the state is automatically dissolved. Absolutely incorrect. It is not automatically dissolved. Second is that the powers of the legislature of the state shall be exercisable by or under the authority of the parliament. Yes, the reason is legislature is a lawmaking body, parliament is the lawmaking body. So if by any chance the state legislature is not there, who will make the laws? Parliament. Governor cannot make the law. Why? Separation of power. President cannot make the law. Why? Separation of power. So if you understand the concept of separation of power, you know that this is basically the correct answer. You know that this is basically the correct answer, right? So moving to the next question. So from where it was asked? It was asked again from your DD Basu and your Lakshmi Kant. That is the chapter of emergency. That is the chapter of emergency. Mahindra, you can get our notes. You join a Telegram. Those who are all asking that from where we can read all different newspapers, because it is humanly impossible, not feasible to read all different newspapers. You go on Telegram, search Raj Malhotra's IAS, you will get a Telegram channel. Join. We every day send you there, or we every day send the daily current affairs material in the morning with regard to all the newspapers, the PIB, everything is covered. Right? So you can, anyone who is asking this, go and join our Telegram channel. You will get there, and even you can visit our, and even you can join our YouTube channel. Every day we conduct multiple classes on YouTube just with regard to your current affairs. Right? Mahendra and everyone who is asking this, you can join a Telegram, you can join a YouTube, and life will be easy for you. राइट, आर पर्पज इज आपकी जिंदगी आसान बनाना, और वो जिंदगी आसान बनाने के लिए हमने दो चीजें निकाली हैं, एक तो है यूट्यूब, दूसरा है टेलीग्राम. ठीक है, तो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन की बात करते हैं. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन वाज विद रिगार्ड टू योर पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटी, कि कौन सी ऐसी पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटी है, कौन सी ऐसी पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटी है जिसके ऊपर काम जो है डेलीगेट किया जा सकता है. तो दैट इज कमेटी ऑन सबऑर्डिनेट लेजिस्लेशन. सो दिस कैन बी योर आंसर. व्हाई इट वाज इन न्यूज? बिकॉज उस साल पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटीज की मीटिंग्स नहीं हो रही थी प्रॉपरली, और जब पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटीज की मीटिंग्स नहीं हो रही थी तो पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटीज की मीटिंग्स नहीं हो रही थी तो हुआ क्या, तो उससे रिलेटेड यूपीएससी ने एक सवाल पूछ लिया. राइट? सो बेसिकली ऑल आर दीज सच काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस दैट द यूपीएससी इज आस्किंग विद रिगार्ड टू योर पेपर. दूसरी चीज देखो, नाउ देयर वाज अ न्यूज विद रिगार्ड टू दैट वेरी ईयर रिगार्डिंग मैगी. ठीक है, मैगी को लेकर ना बहुत सारी चर्चा चल रही थी. मैगी बैन कर दी. अब मैगी बैन कर दी, लोगों में, स्टूडेंट्स में तो ज्यादा दिक्कत होगी ना. ठीक है ना, वो आता ना 2 मिनट में मैगी बनाना. अब बच्चे तो मैगी खाते हैं ना यार. ठीक है ना, हमें कुछ और बनाना नहीं आता, मैगी बनानी आती है. तो जब आप तैयारी कर रहे हो तो मैगी खाओगे, तो सरकार ने मैगी बैन कर दी. अब yippee खाएंगे, पतंजलि खाएंगे, तो फसाई के ऊपर सवाल आ गया कि क्यों बैन करी. जब वो इतना ज्यादा न्यूज में रहा, इतनी ज्यादा चर्चा में रही, तो यूपीएससी कहता कि यार मजा भी तो आना चाहिए. तुमने मैगी सिर्फ स्वाद के लिए खाई कि बैकग्राउंड भी पढ़ा, क्यों बैन हुई, किसने बैन करी, क्या कंडीशंस हैं, तो वो न्यूज में उठा के पूछ लिया उन्होंने. पेपर में फसाई से रिलेटेड उन्होंने सवाल पूछ लिया, फूड सेफ्टी एंड स्टैंडर्ड्स एक्ट. तो सर देखो, मैं सिर्फ और सिर्फ आपको एक चीज समझा रहा हूं. नहीं रितु, इट इज फॉर यूपीएससी, इट इज फॉर यूपीएससी फ्री स्टडी मटेरियल राज मल्होत्रा आईएएस ऑन टेलीग्राम. विल शेयर यू गो टू आवर यूट्यूब चैनल, वहां पे हर वीडियो के नीचे टेलीग्राम ग्रुप का लिंक शेयर्ड है, वहां से जाके आप देख सकते हो. ठीक है रितु. नाउ another question is basically with regard to the money bill. So I'll not basically, as I have told you earlier as well, I'll not be basically discussing every question. I'll be basically discussing the topics and the portions of the questions that are being asked. So from 2018, let us move to the next portion with regard to, that is 2019. That what was in news in 2019 and how UPSC asked the questions in 2019. Right? So in 2019, the first question was with regard to particularly vulnerable and tribal groups. ठीक है, इसके लिए रिपोर्ट आई थी, गवर्नमेंट ने एक पॉलिसी बनाई थी. इसमें रिपोर्ट आई थी, गवर्नमेंट ने एक पॉलिसी बनाई थी जिसके रिगार्डिंग ये सवाल आया, और उस सवाल के ऊपर यूपीएससी ने सवाल पूछ लिया कि आपका क्या होता है पीवीटीजीज. राइट? नाउ फ्रॉम वेयर यूपीएससी picked this news? Your very basic newspaper which everyone reads, that is The Hindu. Everyone reads this newspaper, The Hindu. So UPSC picked this question from The Hindu. Right? I'll get to that, Riaz, don't worry. Second question was basically with regard to, again the center state relations, as center state relation is always in news, that state says something else, center कहता है हमारी पावर है, state कहता है हमारी पावर है, तो दोनों में झगड़ा हो जाता है, right? तो because of that their question came that center state relations को लेके, और which was the committee that was with regard to center state relation and the power that the governor should be an eminent person. So which was that committee? That was Sarkaria Commission, right? So these kinds of the very basic things that can be asked, right? So many of you are asking the books or the reference books that can be considered or that can you can go for. So let me tell you first that, then we'll move to other portion. So first is your NCRTs, and specifically your NCRTs of +1. So your 11th NCRTs become very, very fundamental. Second is the book that is your Lakshmikant, right? Some even read DD Basu, Lakshmikant, DD Basu, some even read DD Basu, and then also there are newspapers that have to be merged with all these. But the point is that just before the prelims, it is very, very difficult for you to read all those sources, so you can refer to our institute booklets, right, which address your prelims as well as your mains portion, and all these things can be covered or will be covered in your crash course as well, right? That will be covered in your crash course as well. So these are the basic things with regard to your note making. NCRT specifically +1 and +2, right? And we have also prepared NCRT notes which combine from NCRT of 6th to 12th, right? We have merged NCRTs from 6th to 12th of polity in just around 100 pages, right? You can go for that as well. Then it is our institute booklet and also our crash course which you can rely upon, right? Are you getting my point? Yes, you can get the notes. You self-motivated who's asking a question on YouTube, you can get the notes. You can contact our institute tomorrow, right? Or you can drop a message, then you will get the notes. Now moving to the portion, or moving to the question that what UPSC asked is that, with reference to the Constitution of India, consider the following statements. No High Court shall have the jurisdiction to declare any central law to be constitutionally invalid. It is incorrect, because the judiciary has the power, be it the High Court or be it the what we say is the Supreme Court, all have the powers. Institute, right, just a minute. Anyone who wants to get the notes or get the classes, you can contact on our contact number tomorrow, or you can drop the message. You will get the call from our institute tomorrow, right? You drop the message, we will get you, or we will arrange a call for you from our counselors, right? Shruti, Pooja, everyone, Prajakta, right? No, you call us, Suman, you call us. Right? So moving to the next question, which basically says, or moving to the next question, which basically, अच्छा यही question पूरा नहीं हुआ, अभी हमारा इसकी बात करते हैं. The second point was an amendment to the Constitution of India cannot be called into question by the Supreme Court of India. Absolutely incorrect. The Supreme Court can make the government accountable for the amendment, right? That the Constitution amendment can be challenged in the court. I'll give you one basic example. That is NJAC, right? NJAC. Right, I'll give you the number in the end. Don't worry, I'll write certain two numbers. You can drop a message on that, right? NJAC. So the court can basically cancel or say that the court can say that the power of the what we say the amendment is not right, or the amendment can be declared invalid by the courts, right? So the answer to this particular question became your D option. The answer became your D option, right? The source is again your DD Basu or Lakshmikant. ठीक है जी? Now this is basically your new introduction that UPSC has done post 2017, that is political theory. Now political theory, UPSC is asking these questions regarding political theory every in your examination since 2017. Right, since 2017, UPSC is asking these questions since 2017 with regard to your political theory. Now, this political theory can be read from your 11th class NCRT of political theory, and even we have made the notes of political theory, right? So one thing is very clear with this regard to this is basically that in context of polity, which one of the following would you accept as the most appropriate definition of liberty? Now if you know that what is liberty, then you can tell that what is the appropriate definition of liberty, right? So this can be from your NCERT of 11th class. Now next question is basically with regard to article 142, article 142 of Constitution of India. Now why this was in news, why article 142 was in news? Because that year Supreme Court gave a verdict regarding NEET. ठीक है, योर नेशनल एंट्रेंस टेस्ट जो कॉमन टेस्ट होता है ना आपका मेडिकल एग्जामिनेशन को लेके, तो उसके लिए आप सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने पावर यूज करी थी अपनी आर्टिकल 142 की, जिसकी वजह से ये सवाल आया, द क्वेश्चन वाज आस्क्ड रिगार्डिंग दैट, राइट? सो that was the question. Because of this NEET examination, the Supreme Court used its power and question was asked by UPSC, right? Now coming to the 2020 topics or 2020 topics that we can discuss, then I'll take your questions. Multiple questions have been asked. I'll take your questions, don't worry, right? I'll take your questions. Everyone questions will be taken. Now first let me tell you that what are the topics that were asked in 2020 examination. ठीक है? Oh, मिस हो गए, ऊपर चले गए. This slide is moving very fast. Right? So like this was the question that was asked by, for example, it's a very easy question, that Rajya Sabha has the equal powers with Lok Sabha, right? So which of the following, in which of the following situations Rajya Sabha has equal powers? So this can be basically amending the constitution, right? So these are the very basic questions that UPSC asks with regard to your polity. Now this question, why this question was important with regard to MP lads? Because in the COVID time, the government of India decided or declared that MP lads will be discontinued, right? So UPSC asked the question that what is MP lads? What is MP lads? Why it will be discontinued, right? So there was a basic question regarding this MP lads and this scheme. So UPSC can ask you with regard to the scheme, right? Next is basically again a very basic or a very easy question with regard to right to equality की untouchability की कौन सी classification में आता है, fundamental right की कौन सी classification में आता है. A very basic question from your Lakshmikant, right? And even your class notes. Next can be a constitutional government. Again, what I was telling you about political theory, right? What I was telling you about political theory, that a constitutional government by definition is a limited government. Whoever knows of anything about the constitutional government, they know that constitutional government means the limited government, that is the minimum power of the government, right? So this is basically what we say, right? Next is with legal services authority. So this was a very basic question that can be asked, or that was asked with regard to your NALSA FAQs and even your Lakshmikant and your class notes. So now let me take the questions that have been asked by many of the students. First question that you have maximum of you have asked is that basically with regard to your notes. So first thing that I have explained to you is that these multiple sources are very difficult to be read. So what we have done is that we have provided it in your class notes plus our institution booklet. Right? So you can contact our two numbers where you can basically get hold of our institution booklets. Class notes तो आपको obvious सी बात है, class notes तो class में discuss होते हैं, institution की booklets आपको मिल सकती हैं. And moreover you can join the Telegram group. I'll send a message in the comment section of YouTube and Zoom with regard to what is a Telegram group. What I'll tell you the certain numbers. One number on which you can drop a message, don't call, just drop a message, that is 98147 11661. This is the first number. And second number on which you can drop the message is 708 700 437. So these are the two numbers on which you can drop the message and inquire about the crash course and inquire about what we say is your institution notes, right? Second thing that maximum of you have asked, let me take that as well. Let me take those questions as well. First, you note down this number. First, everyone, please note down this number, right? So, second question that I have asked is second question that maximum of you have asked. Yes, Akram, you can clear the exam. Yeah, don't worry, right? 28 is not an age that you should worry about. You should worry about that how to crack the exam, right? So second thing that we have discussed is that how much important is our current affairs, right? So when you will be taught in your crash course, which will be around 3.5 to 4 hours class every day, so what will be done is that we will pick those topics as well which are in your current affairs and related with the static portion, so that you can garner maximum marks. And after each and every class, what will be there is that there will be half an hour test or 30 minutes test after the class of the topics that have been covered those dates, right? And with regard to any of the questions that you are asking, that what are the current affair notes, what is the price and everything, you drop the message on those two numbers, you will get each and everything, right? So now I'll invite Mohit sir to take over and discuss about the economics portion. It was good to interact with you. I hope I see you in your crash course. Now I'll invite Mohit sir to take over the reins of this particular class. Thank you.
Hello friends, my name is Mohit Garg and I am here to discuss with you guys about the economy paper. ठीक है? So friends, let me first discuss what UPSC is asking in the economy. First of all, if we talk about the sources from where the economy questions are being asked in the UPSC paper. So for the economy, mainly if we talk about economy sources, then there is current, and second portion is static, friends. So if let's suppose there are 20 questions in a year, then out of those 20 questions you can expect 12 to 13 questions from the current affairs and the remaining from the static portion. Now if we talk about the current affairs, so what different sources we need to cover for the current affairs. So for current affairs, one thing is budget. It is very much important. And friends, if we talk about the budget, then again, portion from the budget is also related with the static portion, like fiscal deficit, the question about the fiscal deficit, questions about the GDP, question about the agricultural growth, etc. All these are from the budget portion. And the second most important document for economy is your economic survey. Every year before budget, government publish economic survey. Okay, so from the survey analytical point of view, like FDI, questions about FDI, which country is putting maximum money in India in the form of FDI, etc. Trends about the agriculture, trend about the GDP, trend about the development. All these kind of questions would be asked from the eco survey portion. So two most important document for the economy are budget and eco survey. Clear? Now, if we talk about the static portion, friends, as I have told earlier as well, topic from the static will be related with the current as well, like आपके fiscal deposit, fiscal deficit, GDP, etc. Now if we go back to the questions being asked in the year of 18, so first question, it is about, as per the NSSO 70th round situation assessment survey of agriculture household, consider the following statements. So friends, as I have told you, this question is from the current affairs. This is from the current affairs, because in that year there was a report of NSSO, the survey conducted by NSSO. So this question was directly picked from the NSSO survey. Okay, so for economy, make sure that you are covering at least 1 year current preceding your pre-paper. Okay, so if we talk about the second, again, merchant discount rate. Merchant discount rate, friends, merchant discount rate is related with digital transactions. If you go to a shopkeeper and you swipe your card, credit or debit card, then that person has to pay some amount of money to the bank. That is called merchant discount rate. And why it was asked in 2018? Because that time was where the government was focusing on digital payments, and there was an issue about the merchant discount rate, because after 2016 demonetization, the digital transaction increased in numbers. Okay, so if the digital transactions are increasing, that means merchants has to pay more and more merchant discount rate, and at that time it was around 2% of your total transaction. Okay, so that was in news, and the merchants were, they were not accepting the digital payments because they had to pay 2%. So this question was in news due to that reason. Okay, so after that RBI reduced the merchant discount rate. Okay, clear to everyone? So again, this is, merchant discount rate is related to your current affairs, as well as what we are doing in our banking chapter, in our banking section, we are covering these merchant discount rate. Okay, so static as well as current, but mainly it was in current. That is why this question came. This is the source, Hindu. Everywhere, in every newspaper you will find about merchant discount rate. Okay, so let's next, if we talk about ATMs. Okay friends, now which of the following links about the ATMs, which of the following is right about the ATMs in India? Okay, पूरे के पूरे इंडिया के ATMs को लिंक कौन करता है? Which of the agency links all the ATMs in India? So this is your National Payment Corporation of India. And now, why this question was asked in that year? Because there was a survey that told that penetration of banking system is okay, but at the same time the ATM machines, India lack ATM machines. Okay, हमारे पास, we were not having those numbers of ATM machines. Okay, so that survey was conducted, and this question was directly asked from the current affairs. Okay, but at the same time, while covering our banking section, we cover National Payment Corporation of India, because it is a very, very important body in banking sector, because all your private payments, all your payment, like your IMPS is there, your RuPay card, each and everything is designed by this National Payment Corporation of India. That is why this is a very important body which we cover in our banking sector. Clear to everyone? Statics, for this you can refer any static book as well as our institution book. We are covering everything in that book. Clear? For this, what you can do, there is a book that is Ramesh Singh. It is your standard book. Okay, okay. Maybe you will not be able to do one thing. For your standard book, what you can do, there is a book that is known as Ramesh Singh. Okay, this is the standard book for economy. You can refer this book as well. Okay, but What I am trying to tell you guys, that it is economy. Okay, so in economy, number of terms would be there जो आपकी किसी बुक में मेंशन शायद ना भी हो. Okay, for that you have to be updated about the current affairs. Whatever is there in the news, you have to cover that as well. Okay, so whatever in news, what we are doing at our Raj Malhotra's institution, our book, what we have designed, it is like every year we are updating our book, which includes all the static portions at the same time. Sorry, it is covering all the static as well as current affairs up to that point. Okay, along with that we are providing the current affairs. Clear to everyone? Okay, now student is asking about, Akram is asking about the NCRT. Okay, so dear, for the NCRT, what, there are many questions. Let me discuss. There are many questions which are directly asked from the NCRTs as well, like your merchant discount rate as well. It is mentioned in your NCRT as well, 12th class NCRT. Okay, let's move forward. Okay, again, the commodity to provided free to the public by the government. Okay, if a commodity is provided free to the public by the government, then it is an opportunity cost which is being transferred from the consumer of the product to the taxpayer. Okay, so it is about this topic, opportunity cost. What is called an opportunity cost? Okay, what is the meaning of opportunity cost? Okay, this question is directly asked from the static portion. Okay, static, what is called the opportunity cost? Clear? Now, again, mention in your budget as well, because static plus your that year's budget. That I have already told you guys, two most important sources for the current affair, for the economy, that is your budget and eco survey. Clear? Okay, now, okay, let's this question is from the, 1 second please. Okay, just skip this. Okay, so this portion, this question, 13th number question, is about the capital adequacy ratio. Capital adequacy ratio is the amount that banks have to maintain in the form of their own funds. Okay, any loss that banks incur if the account holder fail to pay dues. CAR, capital adequacy ratio, is decided by each individual bank. Okay, the answer would be A only, because it is decided by the central bank. Now, if we talk about the sources, dear, if we talk about the sources, this particular question, it is linked with rising NPA issue. Okay, because your capital adequacy ratio norms, they are being given under Basel norms. Okay, this is a portion which we are going to cover in our banking sector. Okay, Basel norms, Basel 1, 2 and 3. Okay, why this question is being asked in UPSC? Because you all know that from last 2 or 3 years, NPA issues is more aggravating in our banking sector. Okay, we have come up with many different ideas to sort out our NPA issue, like IBC code. Okay, so this question is related with the NPA issue, and for NPA there is Basel norms, that minimum requirement for the banking sector to run efficiently, to run without taking risk. Okay, so this was from the current affair as well as your static portion. Clear? Am I audible to all? Am I audible, dear? Because there is one student which is saying that I am not audible to her. Okay, chaliye, again take another question like this one. With reference to the digital payments, consider the following statement. Bhim app, dear, Bhim app, which is designed by government of India. It is a UPI based platform. Bhim app allows a user to transfer money to any with UPI enabled bank account. Very right. Okay. While a chip in debit card has 4 factors of authentication, Bheem app has only 2 factors of authentication. So this is wrong because Bheem app has 3 level authentication processing. Okay. Bheem app is 3-step authentication. And why this particular question was asked in that year? Because government, we developed Bheem app platform. We developed Bheem app platform, and this is a UPI based platform. Okay, so it was in question, it was in news in that year. And again, what we are doing, we are covering this in our banking sector portion. Okay, friends, like as you have seen that many of the questions are being asked from the banking sector. Why these questions are being asked from the banking sector? Because banking is the pillar of any economy in the world. Okay, no economy in the world can survive, no economy in the world can survive without a strong banking system. And if we talk about 2008-9 crisis, world economical crisis, that was because one of the biggest bank of US, Lehman Brothers, it crashed. So if a bank crashed, that affected the economy of the whole world. Okay, so that is the importance of the banking sector. And because government of India, they want digital India, they want digital payments, so they are developing different things for the banking sector. They are trying to sort out the NPA issue. So that is the reason why so many questions are being asked from the banking sector. Clear to everyone? Okay, now let's move forward. Okay, public sector banking. Okay, so let me discuss one thing. I just want to discuss one of the steps which needs to be taken. Okay, so here what I am going to do, I am just trying to explain where you need to focus to answer a particular question. There are many of times whatever you have studied, maximum you will be able to cover 50 to 60% questions maximum. So there would be many number of questions for which you have not studied. Yeah, you have not studied that particular data for that particular year for that particular question. So how to solve those questions, friends? So just read this statement: with reference to the governance of public sector banking. With reference to the governance of public sector banking, again a question from the public sector bank. Okay, banking sector in India. Consider the following statements. Consider the following statements. Capital infusion into the public sector banks by the government of India has steadily increased. Steadily increased. This is an extreme statement. That means every year government of India is increasing its capital infusion into the public sector banks. So this is wrong, because if they have written here that the infusion of capital by the government of India has increased in public sector banks, then it would have been right. But now the question is, the statement is, it has steadily increased. That means continuously it is increasing. There is no decrease, there is no dip. Okay, increase matlab increase, maybe at some time it has decreased, then again it has risen and all. Okay, but steadily increase, that means this situation. Okay, so it is an extreme statement. And friends, many of the times around, if UPSC is using any kind of extreme statement, that particular statement would be wrong. 90% chances are there that that particular statement would be wrong. Okay, so this statement is wrong. To put the public sector banks in order, the merger of associate banks with the parent State Bank of India has been affected. Yes. So why this particular question was asked? Because merger of the banking, SBI के साथ उसके जो subsidiaries थे, they were merged. Okay, so it was from the current affair, friends. This particular question was asked because it was in current affairs. Okay, so most of the banking sector questions are being asked because they are in current affairs, and due to current affairs, static as well as current portion from the banking sector are being asked. Okay, so let's move quickly to another question. Okay, again, there is a portion, there is a section in the economy which talk about international organizations, international institutions. Okay, so different institutions are there. WTO is there, World Bank is there, IMF is there, and Asia Infrastructure and Investment Bank is there. Many number of different banks are there. Okay, now with reference to the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, consider the following statements. Okay, consider the following statement. First of all, why this particular question was asked? Because every international institution, it would be there in news due to some reason every time. Okay, whether it is World Bank, IMF, every institution would be there in the news. So for that, what you have to do, you have to prepare for every important institution, whether it is a bank related with the banking sector, whether it is related with your environmental bodies, every body, every institution you need to be aware of. Okay, so this particular question was asked because this institution was in current affair news. Okay, so this is a very basic question about that. AIIB has more than 80 member nations. Yes, very right. It has more than 80 members. Okay, India is the largest shareholder. Okay, so what I have told you, you must be aware about these institutional bodies. Okay, so when you read about AIIB, you will find that India is the second largest. India is the second largest shareholder in this bank. First largest is the China. So this statement is wrong. Okay, so again, so many of you would not know about this shareholding of India. So let me make it very clear. India is not the largest. Why? Because it was not the initiative of India. Okay, somebody else has initiated about this bank, and India's GDP, India's economy is not that big that we can be a largest shareholder in any international institution right now. Okay, if we talk about the Asian system as well, China would be there. Wherever there is a China, so China's shareholding would be higher in many number of cases, most of the cases. Okay, so this statement is wrong. AIIB does not have any member from outside Asia. Very wrong, very wrong. AIIB has many nations which are outside from the Asia. Okay, so the thing is, answer is one only. And as I have told you, why it was asked, because it was there in the news. Okay, so it is like current affair as well as static. We are reading all these in our static portion as well, but at the same time they are in the current news as well. Okay, so friends, this is how what we are going to approach. This is how we are going to approach our economy portion. Okay, we need to focus on our static, and at the same time we need to focus on our current affair. Okay, and make sure in our this what we are going to start in our crash course, friends. What we are going to cover, we are going to cover all the static portion, and that static portion will be covered in such a way that we will be linking all the static affairs with the current affairs. If I am covering the banking sector, that I'll make sure the banking sector, everything which is there in the current news, whether it is NPA, whether it is about the Basel, whether it is about anything, IBC code, everything will be covered. Whichever is there in current affair, everything will be covered in your static portion. Okay, along with that, what we are going to do, we are going to discuss the budget. Exclusively we are going to cover the budget portion, and at the same time your eco survey 2021 is being covered in this crash course, friends. And make sure whether you join us or not, you need to cover all these things. to score more than 95% in your economy. If you read all these sources, whether here or at your own place, you will be covering 95% of the economy, which is going to be asked in your 2021 pre-exam. Okay, friends. Okay, and about the NCERT, many of the questions, there are two NCERTs, NCERT 11th and 12th. And friends, in case of 11th and 12th, you need to cover only macroeconomy. Okay. 11th NCERT is about Indian economical development. It is about the India's economical development. What is called human capital, what is called human development, the story of Indian growth, plannings and all. This all is covered in 11th class NCERT, and all the topics related with the macroeconomy, it's being your banking sector, okay, your budget, everything is there in your 12th NCERT. But let me make it very clear, it is not covering every topic exclusively. Okay, your NCERTs are just for the base. These are just creating a base for you. Okay, like FRBM Act, it is not mentioned in the NCERT. Okay, but it is very much important for your budget. NK Singh Committee, it is related with your FRBM Act, Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act. Okay, this is not there in your 12th class NCERT, but it is there. We are going to cover that because in the year, okay, there is another question in this our slides which was asked in 2018. It was about NK Singh Committee. It was about NK Singh Committee. Okay, so NK Singh Committee submitted its report in the last of 2017. In the last of 2017, it submitted its report, and in the very next year, in UPSC pre 2018, they directly asked a question related with the NK Singh Committee recommendations, and this committee is related with your FRBM Act, Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act. Okay, so this is the importance of current affairs. This is the importance of current affairs for your economy portion in your UPSC pre. Okay, guys. Is there any query which you want me to discuss with you? Is there any issue which you want to put here over here and you want me to discuss, to elaborate on that? Okay, you got everything? You got it? That how to approach your economy paper, your economy portion, and let me make it very clear, in your whole UPSC journey, this economy is the only subject which you not need to cram about. Okay, you just need to focus on the concept. Once the concepts are clear, okay, need not to worry about anything. Basal norms are there, they are not going to be changed every year. Okay, fiscal deficit, revenue deficit, all the concepts, they are going to remain the same every year. Okay, so just focus on the basic concepts. Once the conceptual clarity is there, you need not to worry about the economy. Clear? Okay, sources of current affair, dear, I have already told you. For the current affairs sources, as I have discussed, budget and eco survey is the most important source. Along with that, Indian Express news related with the economy. There is a specific economy page in Indian Express and The Hindu. These are your basic newspapers, and for economy, you can more rely on Indian Express as compared to The Hindu. Clear? From economy, every year, the 15 to 18 questions are being asked directly from the economy section only. Okay, that means 15 to 18% of the paper would be asked from the economy only. As I have told you, out of that 15%, 10% would be from the current affairs and 5% would be from the static portion. Okay, and current would be related with your static portion. Clear to everyone? Okay, so if you want to start your NCERT preparation, economy preparation, you need to start from 11th class NCERT. Okay, 11th and 12th class NCERT, and in 12th you need to focus on the macroeconomy only. Okay, for civil services perspective, you need to focus on macroeconomy, not microeconomy. Clear to everyone? Okay, current affair is all which is covered in your newspaper, dear. Okay, so if you want to relate your current affairs with your static, you need to be having a basic clarity. What is GDP? How to calculate GDP? What is the problem of NPA? What is NPA? All these things are being covered in the static portion. Clear? So this is how we are going to approach our this economy portion in our crash course. We will be focusing on static, current, budget and survey. Clear to everyone? Okay, friends. So if it is clear to everyone, now I'll hand over the class to Dipender sir, and he is going to discuss with you about science and technology and the current affairs. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Now, am I audible? Yes. So, good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. Now we are going to take up science and technology along with the current affairs. So, yes. First of all, the major thing we need to remember about science and technology, it is very dynamic and we need to have our concepts as well as equipped with the current affairs. So first of all, what I'm going to tell you is जो questions आए हैं previous year में उनको solve करने का तरीका क्या है, because clearing a prelims is an art. So what we will do is we will try to answer these questions with the elimination method, and we will also try to cover the concepts related to that. So first question is with reference to the Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, that means IRNSS, जिसे बोला गया नाविक, 2016-17 में ये बहुत ज्यादा न्यूज में था, इसीलिए 2018 में इसे पूछा भी गया। यहां पे एक बात हमें ध्यान में रखनी है, वो ये कि यहां पे सबसे पहली बात, जनरली अब तक हम सोचते थे कि यूपीएससी कभी फैक्ट्स नहीं पूछता, बट दिस क्वेश्चन कैन बी सॉल्व्ड ओनली ऑन वन बेसिस, दैट इज अ फैक्ट। जैसा कि यहां पे सेकंड स्टेटमेंट में लिखा हुआ है, IRNSS कवर्स एंटायर इंडिया एंड अबाउट 5500 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर बियॉन्ड इट्स बॉर्डर। जब हम IRNSS को पढ़ते हैं, दिस इज रीजनल नेविगेशन सैटेलाइट सिस्टम, जस्ट लाइक जीपीएस, बट जीपीएस कंप्लीट पूरे ग्लोब को कवर करता है। IRNSS इंडिया की बाउंड्रीज, बट उसके साथ साथ 1500 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर के एरिया को कवर करेगा, एंड इट इज प्लान्ड कि हम इसे सार्क नेशन तक एक्सटेंड कर दें। सो यहां पे जैसे ही हमने देखा 5500 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर लिखा हुआ है, वैसे ही हमने ये मार्क कर दिया कि दिस ऑप्शन इज रॉन्ग, दिस स्टेटमेंट इज रॉन्ग। सो जैसे ये स्टेटमेंट रॉन्ग हुआ, वैसे ही हमने देख लिया कि सेकंड ऑप्शन जैसे ही गलत है, हम फर्स्ट ओनली पे जा सकते हैं, बट स्टिल यहां पे नन ऑफ द अबव भी है। यहां पे अब हम देखते हैं, IRNSS has 3 satellites in geostationary and 4 satellites in geosynchronous orbits. जो बात हमें ध्यान रखनी है वो ये, जनरली नेविगेशन सैटेलाइट्स जो भी होंगे दे आर प्लेस्ड इन मिडल अर्थ ऑर्बिट, जस्ट लाइक जीपीएस, गैलीलियो, ग्लोनास, बिडो, ये सारे के सारे सैटेलाइट्स मिडल अर्थ ऑर्बिट में स्टैब्लिश किए जाते हैं। बट इंडिया का जो नेविगेशन सैटेलाइट सिस्टम है ये कुछ खास है और इसे प्लेस किया गया है जियो स्टेशनरी एंड जियो सिंक्रोनस ऑर्बिट में, जिसमें ओवरऑल हमारे पास 7 सैटेलाइट्स हैं। 7 सैटेलाइट्स में से 3 सैटेलाइट्स को प्लेस किया गया है इन जियो स्टेशनरी ऑर्बिट एंड 4 सैटेलाइट्स आर प्लेस्ड इन जियो सिंक्रोनस ऑर्बिट। और ये बात कहता है फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट इज राइट, सो वी नीड नॉट टू रीड द थर्ड स्टेटमेंट, राइट, बट स्टिल फॉर आवर पर्सपेक्टिव अभी हम इसे देखते हैं। बट प्रीलिम्स में जब भी हमें आंसर को राइट और रॉन्ग मार्क करना है, हमें एलिमिनेशन मेथड को भी साथ साथ लेकर चलना पड़ेगा। सो India will have its own satellite navigation system with full global coverage. Full global coverage नहीं होगा by middle of 2019। मैंने पहले ही बोला कि इंडिया का प्लान है ये एक्सटेंड करेंगे कहां तक, सार्क कंट्रीज तक। So we are arrived at the right answer, that is only one. So next question is, with reference, consider the following pairs terms seen sometimes in news। सो यहां पे हमें ध्यान में रखनी है एक बात, वो ये कि साइंस एंड टेक इज नथिंग बट रिलेटेड टू द करंट अफेयर्स। जब बैलेट 2 एक्सपेरिमेंट हुआ तब ये न्यूज में आया, इसलिए यहां पे पूछा गया। सेकंड इज क्रिस्पर Cas9 एंड थर्ड इज ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी। दिस particular blockchain technology is seen in news very often, that's why it is being asked in prelims। And what we can do here is, this blockchain technology is nothing but the related to digital cryptocurrency। क्रिप्टोकरेंसी का मतलब है क्रिप्टोग्राफी, डिजिटल क्रिप्टोग्राफी। व्हेन वी यूज एनक्रिप्शन एंड डिक्रिप्शन, देन वी यूज ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी। एंड द फाइनेस्ट एग्जांपल जिसपे ऊपर ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी के ऊपर जो बेस्ड है, दैट इज bitcoins, cryptocurrencies। So the blockchain technology is related to digital cryptocurrency, this is right। Ballet 2 experiment is related to the particle physics। When CERN made an experiment, Higgs boson experiment, they saw the standard model of violation of particle physics, and they included Ballet 2 experiment, which is not related to artificial intelligence, rather it is related to the particle physics। So first is wrong, second is right, third is CRISPR-Cas9। CRISPR-Cas9 is very important just because of one thing, because in bacterias what we see is bacterias have a mechanism। उनके ऊपर क्या होता है, वायरसेस अटैक्स बहुत अर्ली होते हैं, बहुत जल्दी होते हैं। दैट्स व्हाई बैक्टीरिया डेवलप्स अ मैकेनिज्म, जिसे हम समझने की कोशिश करें वो ये है कि लेट्स से इफ दिस इज अ बैक्टीरिया एंड इस बैक्टीरिया पे अटैक करेंगे कौन, वायरसेस, then what bacteria will develop is they will form a complementary strand of DNA। they will form a complementary strand for that particular DNA जिसकी सीक्वेंसिंग की जाएगी। यहां पे प्लीज ध्यान से सुनिएगा, जो दो वर्ड लिखे गए हैं दैट इज क्रिस्पर एंड Cas9। CRISPR is nothing but the RNA, and this particular technology CRISPR-Cas9 is known as RNA mediated nuclease। RNA mediated nuclease, what does it mean? RNA will mediate and remove the sequence of DNA which is particularly responsible for that disease, right? Let's say if this is a bacteria and it has a DNA sequence like this, right, and this particular DNA sequence is responsible for the particular disease, and we want to edit or delete this particular DNA, what CRISPR will do is this will make an RNA component जैसा ये strand है। Let's see if this is a strand with ATCG, right, then this CRISPR will make an RNA strand similar to that DNA which we want to remove, and then what it will do is it will go and attach with this, and as soon as it will get attached to this, Cas9 will help and remove this particular aspect. So what we are doing here is we are just editing the particular gene sequence or genome sequence which is responsible for the particular disease. This was already developed in the bacteria, and now we are using this particular mechanism. This mechanism हमारे अंदर अगर कोई भी डिजीज होती है, उसके अंदर जो भी जीनोम सीक्वेंस खराब हुआ है, उस सीक्वेंस को हमने बाहर डेवलप करके क्या कर देना है, क्रिस्पर Cas9 की हेल्प से रिमूव कर देना है. CRISPR is nothing but an RNA, and Cas9, what it will do is Cas9 will get attached, and as well as Cas9 will get attached as well as remove this particular gene which is getting affected, right? So next is so this CRISPR Cas9 is not related to particle physics, so the right answer would be 2 only. So let's go to the next question. ये बहुत बड़ा क्वेश्चन यहां पे लिखा हुआ है, but if you will read out this particular question, you will get to know about one thing. जो चीजें आजकल हम in daily life we are using, that is Internet of Things. What we are doing is we are relating or attaching each and every physical objects with the internet. So let's say if I am going out of my house and I want to switch off the fan, so what I can do is I can do that with my phone, right? So this is nothing but the Internet of Things. Physical objects are getting internationally connected with the World Wide Web, connected with internet, right? Next question is, with reference to solar power production in India, consider the following statements. Solar power production in India. सोलर पावर प्रोडक्शन के बारे में सवाल इसलिए पूछा जाएगा बिकॉज इंडिया इज अ ट्रॉपिकल नेशन और इंडिया हैज अ हेल लॉट ऑफ अमाउंट ऑफ एनर्जी का क्या है, कंसंट्रेशन, जिसको हम हार्नेस कर सकते हैं सोलर पावर के लिए. सो नाउ इंडिया इज द थर्ड लार्जेस्ट in the world in the manufacture of silicon wafers used in photovoltaic units. India does not manufacture even a single part of solar power. Rather, India assemble each and every aspect, each and every part of that solar power. Isiliye this statement is wrong. Next is the solar power tariffs are determined by the Solar Energy Corporation of India. SECI is not responsible for the tariffs, solar power tariffs. Rather, CERC is responsible for the solar power tariffs, right? So this is also wrong. So the answer would be neither one nor two. So science is really very important for the prelims perspective because every year 10-12 questions are generally asked related to science and technology, and this also includes static as well as current affairs aspect. You will be able to understand current affairs if and only if you know the static aspects, right? So हमें क्या करना है, static को क्या करना है, बहुत ज्यादा मजबूत करना है, so that we will be able to understand the current affairs related to it and mark the question correct, right? So next question is, in which of the following areas can GPS technology be used? GPS technology can be used anywhere. So this is really very easy question to handle. Mobile phone operations, yes, mobile phone operations में भी GPS का use होगा जो हम रोज करते हैं. Second is banking operation. If I want to locate the location of any ATM, then I can go with the banking operations wala aspect, right? So next is controlling the power grids. If I want my house to get connected with the power grid, then that power grid will definitely take help of the GPS to connect that. So it is also included in this. So the answer would be 1, 2, and 3. Next is the terms WannaCry, Petya, Eternal Blue, sometimes mentioned in news recently, are related to. You can also see here, every question is related to current affairs. But yes, these can be understood in a very comprehensive manner if you understand the basics of all these things. These all terms which are written here are nothing but these cyber attacks. Why cyber attacks? These WannaCry, what they do is they hack the computer. हैक कर लेते हैं. हैक करने के बाद जब आप लॉगिन करने लगेंगे, देन इट विल आस्क यू कि हमें पहले रैंसम पे किया जाए, एंड देन दैट रैंसम विल बी पेड इन द टर्म्स ऑफ बिटकॉइन, बिकॉज इट इज ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी, जो कि क्या है, एनक्रिप्टेड वन है. एक ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी है जिसकी सहायता से हम एनक्रिप्शन की सहायता से क्या कर सकते हैं, ट्रांसफर कर सकते हैं. राइट. So these all are nothing but the examples of cyber attacks. Next is with reference to, in the Indian context, what is the implication of ratifying the additional protocol with the International Atomic Energy Agency? IAEA is nothing but the nuclear watchdog. If we want to maintain our energy security, then we need to harness the potential, nuclear potential as well. So, but there is a limitation in India. We don't have that much uranium or nuclear fuel present with us, right? So in that particular aspect, we want to import that nuclear fuel from outside, from other countries, but we are not the member of nuclear supplier group, NSG. But for our civilian use, जो हमारे जितने भी रिएक्टर्स लगे हुए हैं जिनसे हम अपनी एनर्जी सिक्योरिटी को एनहांस करना चाहते हैं, those all energy reactors require uranium. But if we want to import if we want to import uranium for the nuclear reactors, then what we can do here is we will have to follow the additional protocol provided by the International Atomic Energy Agency, but just for the civilian purpose, not for the military purpose. If you will read the Indo-US nuclear deal of 2008, you will get a better understanding about IAEA, and 2008 nuclear deal will tell us what is the additional protocol we need to follow. Right. सर कौन सा सोर्स बेटर है, साइंस एंड टेक और साइंस एंड टेक में एनसीईआरटी भी होता है क्या? यस, स्टैटिक पोर्शन में एनसीईआरटीज को वी नीड टू फॉलो, बिकॉज इन 2020 वी विल सी द क्वेश्चंस एज वेल, जिसमें डायरेक्ट एनसीईआरटी से क्वेश्चन पूछे गए हैं. बट यस, हमें करंट अफेयर्स को ज्यादा मैनेज करके रखना है along with our static aspect. So next is, which of the following are the aims of the Digital India plan? This is also one of the aspect of current affairs. Digital India is nothing but the हमारा जो भी डिजिटल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है उसे क्या करना, इंक्रीज करना. तो डिजिटल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को इंक्रीज करने के रिलेटेड ये क्वेश्चन पूछा गया. सो यू कैन मार्क दिस क्वेश्चन वेरी इजीली. So next is, what is terminal high altitude area defense? Third, this is nothing but an American anti-missile system. अगर कोई भी बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल आपके एरिया में आके आपको हिट करना चाहती है, उसके लिए जो डेटरेंस क्रिएट करेगा, दैट विल बी थर्ड. लेट्स से हमारे एरिया में कोई एक बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल आके हम डिसेंट फेज में हमें हिट करना चाहती है, उसे रिमूव करने के लिए उसके अगेंस्ट एक मिसाइल जो भेजी जाएगी, दैट विल बी थर्ड. उसे ही बोला जाएगा क्या, एंटी मिसाइल सिस्टम. दैट इज थर्ड. सो नेक्स्ट इज, with reference to communication technologies, what are the difference between LTE and VoLTE? जैसे जियो आया वैसे ही LTE और VoLTE का इशू भी सामने आ गया. इसीलिए LTE मतलब लॉन्ग टर्म एवोल्यूशन एंड VoLTE वॉइस ओवर लॉन्ग टर्म एवोल्यूशन, ये दोनों किससे रिलेटेड है, 4G टेक्नोलॉजी से रिलेटेड है. VoLTE का मतलब सिंपल सा है, जब भी हम फोन पे बात करते हैं, पहले ऐसा होता था कि जब हम फोन पे बात करेंगे तब हमारा इंटरनेट का जो स्पीड है दैट विल गेट रिड्यूस्ड और वो इंटरनेट चलेगा ही नहीं. बट वॉइस ओवर एलटीई में जो हमारा वॉइस भी है उसको भी 4G पैकेट्स में क्या किया जाता है, भेजा जाता है. इसीलिए हम आज जब अपना जियो या कोई भी सिम यूज करेंगे, VoLTE सिम यूज करेंगे, तो उसमें हम कॉलिंग के साथ साथ अपना इंटरनेट भी यूज कर सकते हैं. सो दिस इज वेरी इजी टू आंसर. LTE is commonly marketed as 3G and VoLTE is commonly marketed as advanced 3G. No, this is wrong. VoLTE is related to 4G. LTE is data only technology and VoLTE is voice only technology. No, वॉइस ओनली टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं है, वॉइस ओवर एलटीई है। मतलब अब हम वॉइस को भी 4G पैकेट में भेज सकते हैं, ट्रांसमिट कर सकते हैं। सो द आंसर वुड बी डी। Next question is, the word Denisovan is sometimes mentioned in media in reference to. This is nothing but, Denisovan is nothing but the cousin of Neanderthal. जो निएंडरथल थे उनके कजन कंसीडर किए जाते हैं, एंड दिस इज व्हाट वुड बी एन अर्ली ह्यूमन स्पीशी। दैट्स इट। ये इसको मैं कैटेगरी में रखूंगा टफ क्वेश्चन की, बिकॉज ये जो मीडिया और रेफरेंस दिया गया है, समटाइम्स इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल, sometimes it is not possible to handle each and everything which is mentioned in the news, right? The sources which you are asking me is nothing, कोई source नहीं है। What we here will provide you is every news related to current affairs, science and tech का static, और उसके साथ कैसे करंट को रिलेट करना है, what we will do is here. So next question is, consider the following statements. A digital signature is, अब ये सारे के सारे जो स्टेटमेंट्स हैं जो डिजिटल सिग्नेचर से रिलेटेड हैं, दिस इज नथिंग बट अ सिंगल टेक्नोलॉजी विच इज रिलेटेड टू आईटी फील्ड। डिजिटल सिग्नेचर का मतलब है, जब भी मैंने अपने सिग्नेचर्स को करना है तो एक कंपिटेंट अथॉरिटी होगी, वो मेरे से मेरी सारी डिटेल्स पूछेगी, मैं उनको अपनी डिटेल्स दूंगा, वो अथॉरिटी जो कि गवर्नमेंट ने स्टैब्लिश की है, वो उस डिटेल से मेरे को एक मेरी आइडेंटिटी देंगे, मेरे को एक डिजिटल सिग्नेचर देंगे, जिससे मैं आगे आने वाले जितने भी समय होंगे, जो मेरे को कोई भी डॉक्यूमेंट्स फॉरवर्ड करना है, तो वो डिजिटल सिग्नेचर क्या होंगे, एप्लीकेबल होंगे। तो जितने भी स्टेटमेंट्स यहां पे लिखे गए हैं वो सारे सही है। कैसे? एन इलेक्ट्रॉनिक रिकॉर्ड दैट आइडेंटिफाइज द सर्टिफाइंग अथॉरिटी इश्यूज इट। यस, एक सर्टिफाइंग अथॉरिटी थी जिसने इसको इशू किया। सेकेंड इज, इट इज यूज्ड टू सर्व एज अ प्रूफ ऑफ आइडेंटिटी of an individual to access information or serve on internet। जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन है इंटरनेट पे, उसके लिए ये क्या होगा, बहुत कामदायक होगा। नेक्स्ट इज एन इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मेथड ऑफ साइनिंग एन इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डॉक्यूमेंट। कोई भी एक इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डॉक्यूमेंट है, उसको साइन करने का क्या है, एक इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मेथड है, राइट। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज, in the context of wearable technology, which of the following tasks are accomplished by wearable devices? वेरेबल डिवाइसेस आजकल हम यूज करते हैं, जैसे कि हमारी वॉच हुई, उस वॉच से हम अपना स्लीपिंग पैटर्न भी देख सकते हैं। वी कैन ऑल्सो डू इज, हमारा कितना कैलोरी बर्न हुआ है, वो सब वेरेबल डिवाइसेस से हम यूज कर सकते हैं, राइट। सो लोकेशन आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ अ पर्सन, यस इट कैन बी डन। सेकंड इज स्लीप मॉनिटरिंग ऑफ अ पर्सन, यस इट कैन ऑल्सो बी डन। एंड थर्ड इज असिस्टिंग द हियरिंग इंपेयर्ड पर्सन। जो भी इंपेयर्ड पर्सन होगा, हियरिंग इंपेयर्ड पर्सन होगा, वो भी इसकी सहायता से, वेरिएबल टेक्नोलॉजी की सहायता से अपना जो हियरिंग इंपेयरमेंट है उसको दूर कर सकता है, राइट। सो नेक्स्ट इज, RNA interference technology has gained popularity in the last few years. Why? This RNA interference is nothing but CRISPR-Cas9. So here comes one thing that we need to remember. In 2018, they directly asked, what is CRISPR-Cas9? Right? We discussed that, yes, in detail. Now they changed the name, and what they did is they asked in a different manner, what is RNA interference? But जब मैंने आपको समझाया था, तब what I told you is CRISPR is nothing but an RNA. So उसी RNA के interference से what we are able to answer the question. It is used in developing gene silencing. Yes, it is able to डेवलप द जीन साइलेंसिंग, बिकॉज जो डीएनए का कॉम्प्लीमेंट ऐसा है जिसने हमारे अंदर कोई डिजीज को क्रिएट किया है, वी कैन साइलेंट दैट पर्टिकुलर जीन विद द हेल्प ऑफ आरएनए इंटरफेरेंस, एंड आरएनए इंटरफेरेंस टेक्नोलॉजी इज नथिंग बट द CRISPR-Cas9 टेक्नोलॉजी। यू विल बी इजीली एबल टू आंसर दिस क्वेश्चन, राइट। Next is, which of the following are the reasons for the occurrence of multi-drug resistance in microbial pathogens in India? इंडिया में मल्टी ड्रग रेजिस्टेंस MDR ये बहुत ही फ्रीक्वेंट देखा जा रहा है, बिकॉज हमारे यहाँ पे एंटीबायोटिक्स का जो यूज है वो बहुत ज्यादा है। What we do is we don't take any prescription and start directly medicating ourselves with the antibiotics. Because of that excessive use of antibiotics, what happens is उस एंटीबायोटिक्स का जो रेजिस्टेंस है हमारी बॉडी में वो क्रिएट हो जाता है। लेट्स से इफ आई एम यूजिंग अ पर्टिकुलर एंटीबायोटिक्स वेरी फ्रीक्वेंटली, नेक्स्ट टाइम व्हेन आई यूज दैट antibiotic again, then it will not be हेल्पफुल फॉर मी. वो कोई असर नहीं दिखाएगी, उसका असर खत्म हो चुका होगा. बिकॉज जो बैक्टीरियाज होंगे दे विल डेवलप द रेजिस्टेंस अगेंस्ट दैट पर्टिकुलर एंटीबायोटिक. इसीलिए इसको बोला जाता है मल्टी ड्रग रेजिस्टेंस. और ये टेक्नोलॉजी जो एमडीआर है, मल्टी ड्रग रेजिस्टेंस है, ये बहुत सारे कारणों से हो सकता है. या तो हम बहुत फ्रीक्वेंट यूज कर रहे हैं एंटीबायोटिक्स का, बहुत ज्यादा यूज कर रहे हैं, या कभी कभी हम क्या करते हैं एंटीबायोटिक स्टार्ट करते हैं बट उसके बाद बीच में छोड़ देते हैं उसका कोर्स. तो जैसे ही एंटीबायोटिक स्टार्ट की और उसको बीच में छोड़ दिया तो जो बैक्टीरियाज थे दे विल डेवलप देमसेल्व्स, और उनका जो रेजिस्टेंस होगा वो अगली बार जब एंटीबायोटिक्स का यूज किया जाएगा तब उसके अगेंस्ट डेवलप हो चुका होगा, और वो जो भी एंटीबायोटिक होगी हमारे किसी काम की नहीं होगी. सो यूजिंग एंटीबायोटिक्स इन लाइव स्टॉक फार्मिंग, हम हमारे जो लाइव स्टॉक्स हैं उनको हेल्दी रखने के लिए एक्सेसिव एंटीबायोटिक्स का यूज करते हैं. देन इट विल कम इनटू द फूड चेन और वो हमारे तक भी पहुंच जाता है. नेक्स्ट इज मल्टीपल क्रॉनिक डिजीजेस इन सम पीपल. कई बार लोगों में बहुत ज्यादा डिजीज होती है, बहुत सारे एंटीबायोटिक्स का एक साथ यूज होता है. तो बेसिकली इट इज नथिंग बट दी taking incorrect doses of antibiotics to cure diseases, right? So answer would be second and third. Next is, which one of the following statement is not correct? Hepatitis B virus is transmitted much like HIV. Hepatitis B जो है ये इसके जो मेडिसिन है, जो इसका डेवलप किया गया वैक्सीन का, दैट is based on a principle which is known as recombinant DNA technology principle. You must have heard about GM mustard, BT cotton और इंसुलिन की जो दवाई है वो सारे के सारे रिकॉम्बिनेंट डीएनए टेक्नोलॉजी पे डिपेंडेंट है, राइट? सिमिलरली विद द हेल्प ऑफ यीस्ट वी ऑल्सो डेवलप्ड अ वैक्सीन जो कि किसमें काम आती है? हेपेटाइटिस बी में, रिकॉम्बिनेंट डीएनए टेक्नोलॉजी, राइट? सो hepatitis B, unlike hepatitis C, does not have a vaccine. It is not correct. There is a vaccine, but जो हेपेटाइटिस बी के जो जितनी भी कंटीजियसनेस है वो एचआईवी एड्स से भी क्या है? ज्यादा है, राइट? सो नेक्स्ट इज इन विद रेफरेंस टू कार्बन नैनो ट्यूब्स. ये 2020 के क्वेश्चंस हैं. नैनो टेक्नोलॉजी से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन इज आल्सो आस्क्ड इन मेंस. सो प्रीलिम्स में भी पूछा गया एंड मेंस में भी पूछा गया. With reference to carbon nanotubes, consider the following statements. They can be used as carriers of drugs and antigens in the human body. What is carbon nanotubes? ये बहुत ही नैनो स्केल पे कार्बन के छोटे छोटे ट्यूब्स हैं जिनको डायरेक्टली इंजेक्ट किया जाएगा ह्यूमन बॉडी में, एंड दिस इज नोन एज टारगेटिंग ड्रग डिलीवरी. टारगेटेड ड्रग डिलीवरी में क्या होगा? जो भी हमारी डिजीज है डायरेक्टली जाके ये जो ड्रग होगा वहां पे अटैक करेगा. छोटे छोटे पार्टिकल्स होंगे, नैनो पार्टिकल्स डायरेक्टली इंजेक्ट कर दिए जाएंगे और उस पर्टिकुलर डिजीज को क्योर करने में हमारी हेल्प करेंगे. सो दिस वाज ऑल अबाउट कार्बन नैनो ट्यूब्स. नाउ स्प्रेइंग पेस्टिसाइड्स ऑन अ क्रॉप फील्ड, inspecting the craters of active volcanoes, collecting breath samples from spouting whales for DNA analysis. At the present level of technology, which of the above activities can be successfully carried out by drones? Drones जो हैं इन तीनों एक्टिविटीज को बहुत आसानी से कर सकते हैं. चाहे हमें कोई भी एक्टिव वोल्केनो है, उनके क्रेटर्स हैं, उनको क्या करना हो? इंस्पेक्ट करना हो, चाहे स्प्रे करना हो किसी भी पेस्टिसाइड का, इन सब के लिए ड्रोन्स आर हेल्पफुल, राइट? Next is, in India, the term public key infrastructure is used in the context of. Now, public key cryptography is nothing but the encryption and decryption. और encryption and decryption क्या है? हमारा डिजिटल सिक्योरिटी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है. जो भी डिजिटल हमारी ट्रांजैक्शंस हैं, डिजिटल में जितना भी हम आजकल अपना डेटा जनरेट कर रहे हैं उनकी सिक्योरिटी के लिए, जैसे हम व्हाट्सएप यूज करते हैं, देन व्हाट इट इज एंड टू एंड एनक्रिप्शन, वो भी क्या है? सेफ्टी है. किसकी? डिजिटल सिक्योरिटी का एक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है जिसको बोला जाता है पब्लिक की इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर. सो राइट, नेक्स्ट इज, which of the following in the context of recent advances of reproductive technology pro nuclear transfer is used for? प्रो न्यूक्लियर ट्रांसफर ये एक बहुत ही बढ़िया टेक्नोलॉजी है, काफी पुराना करंट अफेयर था, बट यस दिस इज कवर्ड इन द स्टैटिक क्लास. स्टैटिक क्लास में वी यूज टू फॉलो 3 पेरेंट बेबी सिस्टम. 3 पेरेंट बेबी का जो टेक्नोलॉजी है दैट इज नथिंग बट द प्रो न्यूक्लियर ट्रांसफर टेक्नोलॉजी, जिसमें क्या करेंगे, माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया है जो, एक बात अभी हमेशा ध्यान रखनी है, हमारे अंदर सेल्स हैं, सेल्स में है न्यूक्लियस, न्यूक्लियस में है डीएनए, राइट, एक जगह। सेकंड, पूरे के पूरे सेल में जितने भी ऑर्गेनेलीज हैं एक्सेप्ट न्यूक्लियस, माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया इज द वन विच इंक्लूड्स डीएनए। अदरवाइज और कोई भी ऑर्गेनेलीज हो, चाहे वो लाइसोसोम हो, साइटोप्लाज्म हो, कहीं पे भी आपको डीएनए नहीं मिलेगा एक्सेप्ट न्यूक्लियस एंड माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया। बट समटाइम्स व्हाट हैपेंस इज, जो माइटोकॉन्ड्रियल डीएनए है उसमें अगर प्रॉब्लम है तो उस माइटोकॉन्ड्रियल डीएनए को रिमूव किया जाता है, उस माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया को रिमूव किया जाता है, एंड वी डू द pro-nuclear transfer technology. So it is the prevention of mitochondrial disease in offspring. Particularly diabetes जब होता है उनके लिए ये यूज किया जाता है, right? Next is, with present state of development, artificial intelligence can effectively do which of the following? Yes, artificial intelligence बहुत ही आसान क्वेश्चन है, इसमें जितने भी सारे ऑप्शंस लिखे हुए, सारे स्टेटमेंट्स लिखे हुए, these all statements are correct. Next aspect is with reference to blockchain technology. Yes, here we can see the trend. ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी पे कितनी बार क्वेश्चन आ चुका है, दिस इज द थर्ड टाइम दे आर आस्किंग द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी. सो व्हाट वी डू इज, in the static aspect we comprehensively cover blockchain technology. So anytime UPSC will try to cover the concepts related to blockchain technology, you will be able to answer that, right? So it is a public ledger that everyone can inspect but which no single user controls. एक distributed ledger system है, इसको थोड़ा सा हम समझने की कोशिश करते हैं. when two people transact between each other, then there is a central authority which what it will do is, वो central authority क्या करेगी, validate करेगी इनके transaction को. Generally that central authority is SBI or any other bank, right? But here in blockchain technology what happens is, जो distributed ledger, जो ledger है that is distributed on the network, कोई सेंट्रल अथॉरिटी नहीं है, वो जो लेजर होगा वो क्या कर दिया जाएगा, डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर दिया जाएगा नेटवर्क पे, एंड कोई भी दूसरा व्यक्ति बाहर से आके अगर उसे हैक करने की कोशिश करेगा तो वो सारी की सारी इंफॉर्मेशन खत्म हो जाएगी. सो दैट इज व्हाई ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी को डिजिटल सिक्योरिटी सेफ्टी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में यूज किया जाता है. Next is the structure and design of blockchain is such that all the data in it are about cryptocurrency only. जो ये only statement है, this is not right. Why this is not right? Extreme statement है. Bitcoin एक इसका application है, only cryptocurrency में इसका यूज नहीं किया जाता है. डिजिटल सेफ्टी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में कहीं पे भी वी कैन यूज ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी, राइट? सो दिस स्टेटमेंट विल बी रॉन्ग. एप्लीकेशंस दैट डिपेंड ऑन बेसिक फीचर्स ऑफ ब्लॉकचेन कैन बी डेवलप्ड विदाउट एनीबॉडीज परमिशन. यस, हमें किसी की परमिशन की रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है, कोई सेंट्रल अथॉरिटी नहीं है जो इसे वैलिडेट करेगी. सो द आंसर वुड बी 1 and 3, right? So this was all about science and technology. Now we will move on and discuss some aspect of current affairs, right? So let's see. First is, what are the consequences of a country becoming the member of the NSG, Nuclear Supplier Group? So यहाँ पे हम एक चीज का कनेक्शन बिठा सकते हैं कि NSG के बारे में करंट अफेयर में सवाल पूछा गया, एंड इन IAEA एडिशनल प्रोटोकॉल के बारे में भी पूछा गया. सो दिस इज नथिंग बट द रिलेटेड टू न्यूक्लियर टेक्नोलॉजी. सो फर्स्ट इज, इट विल हैव एक्सेस टू द लेटेस्ट एंड मोस्ट एफिशिएंट न्यूक्लियर टेक्नोलॉजीज. यस, इफ एनी कंट्री बिकम्स द मेंबर ऑफ NSG, देन देयर विल बी टेक्नोलॉजी ट्रांसफर अमंग द कंट्रीज. इसलिए अगर कोई भी कंट्री NSG का मेंबर बनेगा तो वो कंट्रीज आपस में टेक्नोलॉजीज का, जो लेटेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजीज होंगी उनको ट्रांसफर कर सकती हैं, राइट? सो दिस विल बी राइट. सेकंड इज, इट ऑटोमेटिकली बिकम्स द मेंबर ऑफ द ट्रीटी ऑन द नॉन प्रोलिफरेशन ऑफ न्यूक्लियर वेपन्स, NPT. इट इज नॉट नेसेसरी. NPT पे एंट्री करना NSG से रिलेटेड है, बट अगर आप NSG के मेंबर बन जाते हैं, then it does not means you have signed the NPT, right? So this statement is wrong. So the answer would be 1 only. Next, if we will see, with reference to Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, this is nothing but the current affairs. जो भी स्कीम्स होंगी, हर स्कीम को कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव मैनर में हमें तैयार करना है. बेसिकली दोज स्कीम्स which are known as flagship schemes. फ्लैगशिप स्कीम्स आर दो स्कीम्स जिनसे गवर्नमेंट खुद को प्रमोट करती है, राइट? जैसे प्रधानमंत्री उज्ज्वला योजना, राइट? सिमिलरली प्रधानमंत्री कौशल विकास योजना, प्रधानमंत्री जनधन योजना, इनके बारे में हमें डिटेल में पता होना चाहिए. First is, it is the flagship scheme of the Ministry of Labor and Employment. No, it is wrong. It is the scheme of Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, right? So the first statement is wrong. जैसे ही हमने first statement wrong देखा, we will be eliminating A and D. So the answer would either be B or C. So दो यानी number 2 is correct. So हम जाएंगे थर्ड स्टेटमेंट पे. It aims to align the competencies of the unregulated workforce. Yes, इंडिया में डेमोग्राफिक डिविडेंड बहुत हाई है. उस डेमोग्राफिक डिविडेंड का मैक्सिमम यूज करने के लिए व्हाट वी वांट इज, वी वांट टू स्किल आवर लेबर्स, राइट? वी वांट स्किल्ड लेबर्स, ताकि हम उनकी लाइवलीहुड को एंश्योर कर सकें. सो फॉर दैट पर्पस प्रधानमंत्री कौशल विकास योजना वाज लॉन्च्ड, राइट? सो द आंसर वुड बी सी. Next is, very recently, in which of the following countries having lakhs of people either suffered from severe famine or acute malnutrition or died due to starvation caused by war or ethnic conflicts? हमें इतना पता है कि पूरे वर्ल्ड में जो एथनिक कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स और वॉर हैं वो बेसिकली दे आर नाउ कंसीडर्ड, दे आर नाउ कंसर्न्ड और दे आर नाउ कंसोलिडेटेड इन वन पोर्शन दैट इज इन अफ्रीका. सो द आंसर वुड बी येमेन एंड साउथ सुडान. फूड एंड एग्रीकल्चरल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन FAO ने अपनी एक रिपोर्ट इशू की, उसमें ये बोला येमेन, साउथ सुडान, दो कंट्रीज, ये सोमालिया थर्ड, दीज आर द कंट्रीज जहां पे एथनिक कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स के कारण फेमाइंस जैसी एक्टिविटीज हो रही हैं एंड नियरली 20 to 25 मिलियन पीपल आर अफेक्टेड, राइट? सो नेक्स्ट इज International Labour Organization Conventions 138 and 182 are related to. This is nothing but the factual aspect. हमें पता होना चाहिए 138 and 182 are related to the minimum age for the labor, that is चाइल्ड लेबर के लिए. और चाइल्ड लेबर के लिए क्या कंडीशंस होनी चाहिए? जो ILO के these two conventions हैं, these are related to the child labor only. So the answer would be A. Next is, which of the following statements are correct regarding the Maternity Benefit Amendment Act of 2017? मैटरनिटी बेनिफिट अमेंडमेंट एक्ट जो है 2017 में अमेंड किया गया. जब एक्ट आया देन वी सो यहां पे कुछ चेंजेस किए गए. वो चेंजेस ये थे, वुमेन विद 2 चिल्ड्रन गेट रिड्यूस्ड एंटाइटलमेंट्स. जो पहले 2 चिल्ड्रन हैं, 2 चाइल्ड हैं, उनके लिए तो तुम्हें मिलेगा मैटरनिटी बेनिफिट ऑफ 6 months, बाद के लिए मिलेगा 12 weeks. तो सो दिस स्टेटमेंट इज राइट. एंड नेक्स्ट इज, pregnant women are entitled for 3 months pre-delivery and 3 months post-delivery paid leave. This is wrong. Next is, enterprises with crèches must allow the mother minimum 6 visits. No, it is 4 visits. So this is all about the current affairs. So this statement will also be wrong. So the answer we will reach up to the C. That is third only, right? So the next aspect will be taken up by Vivek sir for geography. Thank you so much.
So I hope you all have enjoyed, and this has been some value addition to your preparation. I've been getting constant messages once my number has been shared, so I thought I will come here for a minute or two to tell you something about our course, and then the last teacher will take up and conclude the session. So those who are aiming for 2021, if any one of you is aiming for 2021 and they are interested in our course, that course comes at a very reasonable price. We have already shared the plan, we have already shared the price in all the groups. Now anyone who want to ask me anything in person, if you want to discuss your plan, if you want to make your strategy, if you want to join our course, this is my number, 9814711661, 9814711661. Please make sure that you are not calling me, because there are more than 3,000 students who are directly, indirectly linked with me now. And if everybody start calling me, it will be impossible for me to interact with anyone. So there is a small request, send me preferably a WhatsApp on this number. And if you are not using WhatsApp, you can send me message, SMS, and I will connect with you myself, and you can start your journey with us. The journey that will make sure that you reach your destination. We will make sure that next year you are attending your training at Labasna, Masuri, or at least you are going to Sardar Patel Academy or the Nagpur Academy for IAS, wherever you want to go. God willing, you all will be going there. Let's join hands. Let's take that leap of faith with each other and make sure that you live your dream. Thank you. And here comes Vivek sir, who will conclude the session now. Just send me message and we will connect with you. We will plan the entire journey for you, how you have to start, from where you have to start. We will make every step easily doable for all of you. Thank you and best of luck.
Hello everyone, my name is Vivek and I'm gonna deal with geography and environment portion. So just a small pause due to some technical glitch. So let's start with the geography part. If we talk about geography, I hope you feel like geography is a static part, but today I'm gonna break your myth, because geography which is asked in UPSC prelims nowadays is not about your static portion. It's all about your dynamic portion like current affair and everything. So let me get to the slide and start the session. Just a second. Okay, let's discuss the first question. If you know geography, the first question says that which of the following have shrunk immensely, dried up in the recent past due to human activity. If you feel like that you know everything about map, you are wrong, because map work, most of the map work, whichever the thing is, most of them are related to map work, always gonna relate with your recent current affair. So if you are preparing for UPSC, you have to do this thing that map work should be covered with current affair. You don't have to remember each and every part of the world, but those are in current affair, you have to focus on them. For example, there was one article in Guardian newspaper. So in that newspaper there was article about Aral Sea, sorry, Aral Sea, that the area of Aral Sea has decreased, but this decrease was due to human activity. So hence this question was particularly in news. So if we move about the next question, like this is the term sixth extinction is often mentioned in news in the context of discussion of. अब देखो, अगर हम बात करें इस क्वेश्चन की, तो this sixth mass extinction was in news because the rate at which this mass extinction is happening is very tremendous. मतलब the rate at which the species are मतलब killed by human beings are very far more greater than that happened in previous five mass extinction already happened, and the rate at which this sixth extinction is happening is very very high. So that's why this article was related to down to earth, and moreover this magazine of down to earth, and moreover there was one editorial in the earth or .org. So this is a current affair question, not a static part. So let's see the next question. If we talk about the next question, it talk about which of the following is an artificial lake. This is a kind of static question. This was a kind of static question. So here the source was from the, like, your map work. India has to be covered holistically, so that's why this is a static question. If I say, if we talk about the next question, the next question talks about the barren island. This barren island is only volcanic island in India, and it erupted recently, matlab a year or 2 year back. So that's why this barren island was in news, and hence the question in your prelims was there. You can see the source, you can see the source. The article was in the Hindu newspaper. If you are covering Hindu newspaper, you will be able to answer this, because relating static with your current affair is at most important. मतलब सबसे important, अगर आपने यूपीएससी प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं तो आपको लिंक करना आना चाहिए स्टैटिक एंड प्रीलिम्स. That you might not be able to do it, and that's why we are here to help you. If we talk about the next question, consider the following statement about corals. वर्ल्ड्स के कोरल्स के बारे में क्वेश्चन था, एंड आपको याद होगा ऑस्ट्रेलिया में कोरल रीफ पे देयर इज लाइक अडानी ग्रुप ऑफ कंपनीज का एक प्रोजेक्ट चल रहा था कोल से रिलेटेड, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट देयर वाज बिग प्रोटेस्ट. सो दैट्स व्हाई दिस क्वेश्चन वाज देयर. इट इज आल्सो रिलेटेड टू योर करंट अफेयर, एंड हेंस मैं ये कंक्लूड यहां पर ये करूंगा कि आपको बेसिक के साथ साथ द स्टैटिक पोर्शन के साथ साथ आपको करंट अफेयर भी बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट रहता है. देखिए, अगर आप करंट अफेयर से लिंक नहीं कर पाएंगे अपने स्टैटिक पोर्शन को, तो आप कहीं ना कहीं पीछे छूट जाएंगे, बिकॉज आपको करंट अफेयर से ही पता लगता है कि कौन सा पोर्शन इस साल पेपर में आने की प्रोबेबिलिटी है और कौन सा नहीं. द टॉपिक यू कैन लेफ्ट अबाउट. सो इफ वी टॉक अबाउट द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, there are few like questions from the Guardian newspaper, the Hindu. These are so many sources, there are so many sources, and you won't be able to cover each and every of the source, every source. So that's why we are here to help you. So consider this statement, consider the following statement about, in India the state government do not have power to auction non-coal minerals. If you know that NGT has gave a ruling about the sand mining cases, so that's why this particular part was in news, because उसमें minor and major minerals के बारे में discussion थी, and that's why this question appeared in your prelims. Let's see further. If you can see, this is the question with the reference to cultivation of kharif crop, in which in the last 5 years, consider the following statement. Now it is also a part of current affair. It is talking about kharif crop, but this kharif crop is related with your recent 5 years. Hence kharif, if we talk about, is your static part, and if you link it with your current affair, because there was one article in Hindu business news, so that's why आपको कहीं ना कहीं स्टैटिक और करंट अफेयर को लिंक करने की बहुत ज्यादा जरूरत थी. अगर आप इसे लिंक कर सकते थे तो आप इसका भी आंसर कर सकते थे. अगर हम बात करें तो there are certain other articles, like, just give me a second. Okay, okay, if we consider this question, look at this question with the reference to current trends, cultivation of sugarcane in India. Consider the following statement. Sugarcane की cultivation के बारे में है, but there was one article in the Hindu newspaper में एक article था इसके बारे में. That's why ये आपका question आ रखा था. देखिए, और हिंदू के अलावा एक रिसर्च गेट करके न्यूज़पेपर था, मतलब आर्टिकल पब्लिश करने वाली साइट है. अबाउट द एग्रीकल्चर जर्नल्स. सो इसमें भी इसके बारे में कुछ ना कुछ आर्टिकल आया था, बट द हिंदू में, द बिजनेस हिंदू में इसके ऊपर एक बहुत बड़ा आर्टिकल था, एडिटोरियल था प्रॉपर. दैट्स व्हाई ये जो आपका टॉपिक है, ये जो आपका टॉपिक है, ये न्यूज में रहा और इसीलिए आपका क्वेश्चन भी इसके ऊपर आया. इफ वी टॉक अबाउट फर्दर, in the context of India, which of the following is considered to be the practice of eco-friendly agriculture? If you know that SDG goal talks about sustainable agriculture. So in that case, this eco-friendly agriculture was in news. ये भी आपका कहीं ना कहीं करंट अफेयर से ही रिलेटेड था. दैट्स वाई अगर हम बात करें तो इसमें भी आपको कहीं ना कहीं इसका सोर्स जो है करंट अफेयर से ही मिलेगा. लेट्स सी दिस. देखिए, द हिंदू का आर्टिकल आ रखा है. सो मोस्ट ऑफ दी, एज यू विल सी इन दिस पीडीएफ, मोस्ट ऑफ दी आउट ऑफ 36 क्वेश्चन इन last 3 years, out of that almost 28 question were from current affair and various sources, the print media, the Guardian, the Hindu, and various other sources like that, down to earth. So you won't be able to cover these sources unless we collaborate our efforts. अगर हम आगे बात करें, if we talk further, this Mekong and all, this was a part of like your static portion, and these rivers are like in Europe, and this is in your South Africa, this is in your Europe. So these rivers are covered in your static portion, and you will be able to answer this if you have a basic knowledge of your map. So अगर आपको पता होगा बेसिक आपके मैप्स के वर्क के बारे में, सो यू विल बी एबल टू आंसर दैट. बट मोर ओवर इसमें स्टैटिक पोर्शन को आप कैसे लिंक कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि यहां पर आपका करंट अफेयर आ गया है. बीबीसी पे देयर वाज अ न्यूज अबाउट दिस रिवर्स, सो दैट्स व्हाई ये आपका कहीं ना कहीं एक इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन बन गया था. अगर हम इन्वायरमेंट में भी बात करें तो इन्वायरमेंट में भी मोस्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन, ऑलमोस्ट हम 40 to 47 क्वेश्चंस हैं. in 40 to 47 questions में you will find that majority of question will be from current affair. For example, if we consider the first question, which of the following statement best describe कार्बन फर्टिलाइजर? बिकॉज आपको पता है ग्लोबल वार्मिंग हो रही है, ग्रीन हाउस गैसेस को कंट्रोल करने की बात हो रही है, पेरिस एग्रीमेंट हुआ, उसी से रिलेटेड कहीं ना कहीं कार्बन की सीक्वेंस कार्बन को एक हीट मतलब कार्बन सिंक क्रिएट करने के लिए आप कार्बन को एज अ फर्टिलाइजर यूज करने की बात कर रहे हैं. तो इस वजह से यहां पर अगर हम बात करें, ये एक करंट अफेयर का आर्टिकल था इन्वायरमेंटल रिसर्च वेबसाइट पे, और इस आर्टिकल से डायरेक्टली ये क्वेश्चन लिंक होता है. एंड देयर आर मतलब almost 70 to 80% or even more question are from your current affair. If we talk about the second question, okay, which of the following leaf modification occurs in desert area inhabited water loss? तो ये आपका स्टैटिक का क्वेश्चन है, जहां पर आपको ये बताना था कि आपके जो डेजर्ट एरिया का बायोम है उसमें किस तरह की स्पीशीज थ्राइव करती हैं. तो यहां पर अगर आपको बेसिक नॉलेज होगी एनवायरनमेंट की तो यू विल बी मतलब ये आपके स्टैटिक पोर्शन का हिस्सा है. अगर आपको पता होगा कि हार्ड एंड वैक्सी लीव होती हैं यहां पर, कि यहां पर कांटे वाली झाड़ियां होती हैं, लाइक नीडल शेप आपकी लीव्स हो जाती हैं, या इसकी टाइनी लीव्स होती हैं या थॉर्नी. तो अगर हम इसमें बात करें तो वैक्स कोटिंग कहीं ना कहीं ट्रांसपीरेशन को रोकने का काम करती है, और टाइनी लीव से भी आपकी कहीं ना कहीं ट्रांसपीरेशन रुकने का काम होता है लीव्स में. एंड यहां पर आपको लीव्स की जगह पे कांटेदार यानी नीडल शेप आपको कहीं ना कहीं कंडे मिलते हैं. सो दैट्स व्हाई अगर हम बात करें तो ये पार्ट आपका स्टैटिक का है. ये जो क्वेश्चन है आपका प्योरली स्टैटिक से रिलेटेड था. ठीक है जी, क्लास 8 की ज्योग्राफी में आप इसे मतलब ज्योग्राफी में इसे आप देख सकते हैं. अगर हम बात करें आगे की, सो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन टॉक्स अबाउट the partnership for action of green economy page, a UN mechanism assist country transition towards greener and more inclusive economy. अब ये आर्टिकल जो आपका था, ये जो क्वेश्चन था आपका, ये बेसिकली आपका करंट अफेयर का क्वेश्चन है. करंट अफेयर का क्वेश्चन है. कुछ क्वेश्चन आपके स्टैटिक पार्ट से भी आए हैं. आई एम नॉट डिनाइंग दैट फैक्ट, that question are asked from current affair, but मेजॉरिटी जो आपके क्वेश्चंस की है वो कहां से है, करंट अफेयर से। अगर हम इस पार्टनरशिप के बारे में बात करें, यू वोंट बी एबल टू कवर दैट इन स्टैटिक पोर्शन, ये आपका डायनेमिक पोर्शन है। अगर आप डेली बेसिस पे न्यूज़पेपर मतलब 5-6 न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ रहे हो तब भी शायद आपके करंट अफेयर इतनी सोर्सेज से, डाइवर्स सोर्सेज से कवर नहीं हो सकते। तो दैट्स व्हाई आप अगर इस क्वेश्चन का सोर्स देखेंगे, इस क्वेश्चन का सोर्स देखेंगे तो ये यूएन की डायरेक्ट साइट से है, ये यूएन की डायरेक्ट साइट से है। दैट्स व्हाई अगर आपको मतलब एक होलिस्टिक मैनर में कवर करना है कोई भी टॉपिक, सो यू हैव टू नो द वेरियस सोर्सेस फ्रॉम व्हिच क्वेश्चन कैन बी आस्क्ड। इफ वी टॉक अबाउट द नेक्स्ट पार्ट, like if you see the source of this question, UNFCCC क्लाइमेट चेंज की जो आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है वहां से ये क्वेश्चन है। नाउ सी द क्वेश्चन, the momentum for change climate neutral now is initiative launched by। अब अगर आपको पता होगा कि यूएनएफसीसी की साइट पे या वेरियस करंट अफेयर के सोर्सेज पे आप इस चीज को फाइंड आउट कर सकते हैं, वेयर एज ये आपको इजिली हर जगह, जैसे आपके जैसे इंस्टीट्यूट के नोटबुक में या आपके जैसे करंट अफेयर की मैगजीन्स में ये चीज मिल सकती है। बट मैं आपको यह बताना चाहूंगा कि आपके लिए एक प्राइम सोर्स होना चाहिए। आपकी जो भी स्टैटिक पोर्शन है आप उसको नरिश कैसे कर सकते हैं विद करंट अफेयर, मैं आपको आगे दिखाता हूं। जैसे इफ वी टॉक अबाउट फर्दर, इफ वी टॉक अबाउट दिस क्वेश्चन, consider the following: birds, dust blowing, rain, wind blowing, which of the following spread plants disease। अब ये जो क्वेश्चन है ये कहीं ना कहीं आपके स्टैटिक का क्वेश्चन पोर्शन में से कवर होता है। अगर हमें इसे इसमें पता हो कि बर्ड से भी डिजीज हो सकती है, बर्ड से भी डिजीज हो सकती है, विंड से भी कहीं ना कहीं आपकी बीमारियां वगैरह जो प्लांट्स की है वो स्प्रेड हो सकती है, रेन से भी हो सकती है और विंड ब्लोइंग से भी हो सकती है। सो डस्ट कब ब्लो करती है, जब विंड चलती है, और विंड से भी कहीं ना कहीं आपकी ये डिजीज हो सकती हैं। फॉर एग्जाम्पल देयर आर वेरियस वायरस डिजीज like bacterial disease which can be spread through this all the sources। hence अगर हम इसकी बात करें, इसका सोर्स देखें तो इसके सोर्स में हम देखते हैं कि ये भी आपके बायोलॉजिकली डिस्कशन में एक आर्टिकल आ रखा था, उससे कवर हुई है। इट इज ऑल अबाउट योर करंट अफेयर। इफ वी टॉक अबाउट द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, like you can find any one of them। if we talk about this question, in India extended producer responsibility was introduced as an important feature in which of the following। अब अगर आपको पता हो, there was new e-waste management policy of India, new e-waste management policy, so इसका आर्टिकल आया था द हिंदू में, there was one article in the Hindu, so that's why if we talk about the source was current affair for this particular question। so if we talk further, now consider this statement, consider the following statements: as per law the compulsory afforestation fund management and planning authority exists at both national and state level। the people's participation is mandatory in the compensatory afforestation। ठीक है जी। if you know that there was some change in this article, this particular phase, so this was in current affair, hence you can see the article related to this particular part, you can see the article related to this particular part in the Hindu। so sources are mentioned in this PDF, and hence I will say that for geography and environment, if you don't have, if you don't have the base, the static knowledge, and you don't nourish it with the current affair, you won't be able to, you won't be able to answer many of the questions, because out of 73 question of environment and geography, most of them, almost 60 questions are from current affair। let's see further whether I am right or wrong, let's see। okay, consider this question: Environmental Protection Act 1986 empower government of India to, okay, the state is required to uh, the state the requirement of public participation in the process of environmental protection and procedure and manner in which it is sought. So if we talk about this particular question, it is also from the Hindu newspaper. It was also from the Hindu newspaper. Majid Hussain, देखो, for if your optional is like geography, Majid Hussain is a good book. But if you are a GS student, matlab you don't have optional of geography, you don't have to follow that much books. GC Leong, and with the current affair, you can easily sail through. Only 6th to 10th class NCR, 6 to 12th class NCRT books plus GC Leong notes from our classes, because we cover both static and dynamic portion. We cover both static plus dynamic portion. So that will be sufficient. That will be sufficient. If you talk about particularly geography and environment, वो तो एक महीने में भी हो जाएगा. That can be covered in only 1 month. But for preparation of UPSC, you have to cover the current affair of almost 1.5 year. Almost 1.5 year. Anyone having any kind of doubt regarding how to prepare geography and environment? Because discussing this question won't help you. I am here just to know what are your problems. Like if you are preparing for 2021, you have to start with at least June 2020 current affair. You have to start from here. Look, notes making should be your own. You should make your own notes with reading frequently the like newspaper and various other sources. You can join our course. We will help you out with that. But your notes should be your own. Well, I will say if you can like download this PDF, you will get your answer. If this kind of question, the answer were given in Shankar IAS, then Shankar IAS is a good book. But mind it, out of 47 to 48 questions, only 1 or 2 questions were from current affair, only 1 to 2 questions, and rest of them were from newspaper like Down to Earth, like The Hindu, Indian Express, various other sources. Yes, you have to, because देखो contemporary part में you have to cover at least 1.5 year current affair. Yes, the PDF will be available in our Telegram groups. You can have that. Look, agar if we talk about the environment and geography part, almost 80 to 90%, not about 70 to 80, I'm saying 80 to 90% question in last 3 years were from current affair. And that part you have to cover, at least one year's current affair. So any further question? Anyone want to ask something different from this? Yes, current affair notes are like necessary, because for example, let's see this. For example, if you read a monthly magazine, it will cover 75 to 85 pages. चलो roughly लगा लेते हैं, it will cover 70 pages, and into 12 करोगे तो it is 840 pages. Will you be able to remember these 840 pages? Will you be able to remember these 840 pages? That's why your own notes from the different modules you follow, your own notes are very important. Well, many of the teachers says that the day you join the institute, you start writing, but first inculcate some knowledge, because writing on the very first time will be difficult for you. And if you don't have that much data in your mind, that much knowledge with you, you won't be able to write a great answer. Look, the data we provide will be sufficient. The data we will provide will be sufficient, but you have to remember this thing, that the moment you move away, like for example after prelims you don't join us for like mains or any other course, so at that time mains may, or at any stage when you are not connected with us, at that point you have to remember that you have to cover current affair on your own, and that will be a big task for you. For example, I have made a crash course for mains to 2020. Out of my 8 videos, out of my 8 videos, 5 questions were directly, 5 questions were directly from my videos. You can check over there. So this is how we relate. Geography के geography portion, out of 8 question, 8 question there were in UPSC Prelims 2020, 5 were directly from our crash course. You can go on, watch that crash course video, geography part, and you can relate it with the your UPSC exam. You will find almost 5 questions were directly from there. सर इन करंट अफेयर लास्ट के भी देगा एग्जाम या प्रेजेंट वाला देते हैं? लास्ट ईयर में कंटेम्प्रेरी पार्ट में अगर कोई बहुत बड़ा इशू रहा होता तो उसका देते हैं जी. Am I audible now? Am I audible now? Okay. Any further question? Okay. Notes कैसे बनाएं? देखो, notes making is an art which can be learned over a period of time. For example, when you read a book, give it a first reading in which you understand the concept. You don't make notes. In the second reading, when you are familiar with the concepts, then you move towards making notes, and then revise your notes. And if you feel like out of these 100 pages, I can remember like 30 to 40% content, then reduce your notes, because the notes are like 5 to 10 pages. For example, I have made during my preparation, I have made GC Leong's notes, and it was just a 30 pages notes. सिर्फ 30 पेज के वो notes थे. Well, depend upon your efforts. You can clear, but depends upon your effort, because you have to give very matlab very hard work and smart work too, because doing just hard work, if by doing hard work you can get the success, it might have been a matlab cakewalk for everyone, but smart work includes that those topics which are not relevant, you have to miss out on those topics. Okay, for right strategy you have to divide the divide your answer into 3 phases. One is introduction. In introduction you can you can use some kind of quotes. If the question is related to polity or like disaster or like ethics, you can begin with quotes, or you can in case of geography you can give something like facts, or you can give something like definition about the topic. In the body 1, if question asks about the positive and negatives, the body 1 will include positive points, then negative, and then the conclusion point. You will write your own opinion. You can't rely on magazines, like I tell you, because magazines में problem ये रहती है, they only cover few topics. Like we are having very good series, like we are covering Indian Express on our YouTube channel, The Hindu, and then MCQ based questions. Then we are covering like 15-minute series mein we are dealing with static topics, and then at the end of the day at 8 p.m. we are covering each and every magazine which are important for your UPSC preparation. So by that mean you are covering everything from like for the current affair purpose. Roshni, I will say that just 2 to 3 hours you can devote to current affair. I hope that will help. All in one book. All in one book. Can you give a kind of example for this, Aditya? I'm not familiar with all in one book because there are different book for every subject. Well, Akram, I will say that just get familiar with the topics. If you feel like on the day of exam, you can fill the exam. It won't count as your attempt. If you on the day of exam, you don't feel like you are not right now prepared for it, just skip the exam. That thing won't be counted as your attempt. But if you feel like you are well prepared, give some test series, join some test series, and you will be able to, like, if you are doing well in your test series, you will be able to clear the exam. That's it. Okay, with job. So for that I have to know, Vishali, it is all about dedicated hard work and smart work. You can do it. And the person who was asking for job related question, tell me how many hours you can devote. How many hours? The college going, or if you are having a job, how many hours you can devote? No, that Aditya, that won't be sufficient. Okay, 6 hours. 6 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. Okay, 5 to 6 hours. Divide your hours. Like cover one static portion, like 3 hours for your static portion. Then your like current affair, dynamic portion for 3 hours. Do it for 1 year, and then analyze the things. And you can decide whether you should continue with your job if you are aptly prepared. If you are not prepared, then follow this routine for at least 1.5 hour, 1.5 year. Like you have, like you are attempting for 2022, then it will be okay. For look, the number of hour depends upon your caliber. For example, if I read a book, one book, 2 hours a day in 15 days, other might cover the same book 2 hours a day in 30 days. So it is totally upon you whether you are having a efficient duration, like you are able to remember the things, recall the things. It depends upon person to person. There is no perfect strategy for all of you. There is no one uh, one size fit all policy. One size fit all policy ऐसी कुछ नहीं होती ही, ठीक है जी. One size fit all मतलब कि सबको एक जैसी स्ट्रेटेजी वर्क नहीं करेगी. You have to make your own strategy, because the way you learn, you know it better, not me, no, not anyone else. So that's why I can't give you anything. Look, depends upon you. There is nothing like segregation between mains and prelims. Get this thing inside your head. There is no segregation between mains and prelims. They both, the preparation goes side by side. Okay, like ethics you have to do extra work, for essay you have to do extra work, but most of the topic like history is there, geography is there, environment is there, economy is there, polity is there. So polity और ये सब कुछ मिला के stat मतलब your mains and prelims syllabus is almost same. But just like internal security or your cyber security and all, this topic can be like covered later on. You should focus on both the subjects. 8 hours sufficient hai if you have a sharp brain. Shruti, what is your optional? Okay, smart work. Smart work, I will tell you how to do it. For example, UPSC don't ask about negatives. UPSC don't ask about negatives. Okay. If a news is covering negative article, you can eliminate. For example, if governor is in news for like 6 to 7 times in a year, this topic becomes important and you have to remember all the polity concept related to it. Got my point? If the news is about glacier outburst, glacier outburst, like Chamboli glacier outburst, so you have to cover glacier part. So geography as an optional give you a lot of scope that you can score good marks in your GS paper. So it's all about Riyaz, your fundas. If you have a clear funda, you can score in any optional, but you have to get the things right. You don't have to be don't have to be like ki I'm learning some concept here and there. You have to have a clear strategy that I have to understand all the concepts. But the thing is, there is a basic difference between doing PhD in geography and preparing for UPSC. Got it? You don't have to do PhD in geography. You don't have to do PhD in geography. Best newspaper is the Hindu. Best newspaper is the Hindu, but depends upon the source examiner choose. So Hindu and Indian Express both are equally good. Well, for me, each and every optional is good. You can score like anyone can score good marks in optional. You have a writing skill. If you have a writing skill and concept clarity linked with the dynamic part. So if you cover these three pillars, you can score good marks in any optional. For which subject? Sai, for which subject you are asking? Commerce as an optional, I am saying na, every optional is good. No, you can skip newspaper 15 days before your exam. You can skip it. Snehal, how much syllabus you have covered? How much syllabus you have covered? Tell me. No, for like you have to go for the advanced books or a course, because if you are covering advanced books, then you will be able to write. Yes, there are negative marks. If you remember, it is like 1/3. 1/3 is awarded as negative. If you have 2 marks question, it will be 2/3. It will be 2/3. मेंस में ज्योग्राफी के लिए if you have an optional, you can go with like books like Majid Hussain or like Savinder Singh. Look, like if you have seen my series, there are two type of motivations. Okay, the one coming from inside, like I have this thing, I have this inbuilt core energy that want me to succeed in my life, that want to see me as an IAS. That is endogenic, मतलब आपके अंदर से आएगी. And one is exogenic, the fear of failure. So these are the two things. No, there is no negative marks in your mains. Like for mains, sometimes you have to have a lot of knowledge, but that much is sufficient. That much Kailash is sufficient for polity. Because sometimes some judgments come and you have to write an answer about it. So in that case, it is like you have to be prepared with the newspaper, or you can have notes from our academy or somewhere else you want. Snehal, history as an optional or anything else? Jyoti, I haven't got your question yet. Can you please retype your question? I will be able to help you then. Oh, for GS, for modern history, ancient, medieval, which part? Look, there is a myth that old NCRT are better like that. There's nothing like that. There are tons of books in the market which you can use as a supplements. But yes, like in history part, ancient part, R.S. Sharma was a good book because at that time questions were asked from that. But right now UPSC focus on art and culture part, so you have to change your sources. Yes, you can get a good marks in literature subject. The It only depends upon your command, the command you are holding on your literature subject. Sir, I am going to start my preparation now. Help me choose your. Okay, go with the syllabus, all the syllabus of like optional subjects, the one you are attracted toward, and then read few like books about it. Few books in the sense, go through like previous year questions and like your one two article regarding that. If you are able to feel develop the taste about the optional, then choose it. Otherwise, don't. Sai, hi. Any other doubt regarding your preparation? Well, there are tons of sources like UPSC sites pe you can find it. How to get academy book? You can call or text on the given number. It will be we will be able to deliver it. Well, once you join it, the class timing can be very flexible, like 11 to 2, 5 to like 7:30, like that kind of flexibility is there. The one asking for previous year questions, there are tons of book. I guess there is one 25-year previous year question booklet of Disha publication or any other publication. You can find it easily. Look, ethics is something like you have to develop certain kind of things that if you are a good writer, orator, you will be able to score good marks in ethics. Reading just book in ethics won't be sufficient. Reading just book in ethics won't be sufficient. If you want to develop a good taste of it, you have to write the answer. Consider yourself in that situation, what you will react to, so that can help you. Any other doubts? No, there is only one optional. Well, for that, do one thing: read Hindu articles, editorials, and then write a summary about it. Like there will be an article of 1200, words, and you write it down in 250 words in your own way. If you are getting this done for at least 3 to 4 months, you will be able to write good answers. Well, Roshni, my glass number is like 6.25, and it come under general category, not disabled. Any other doubts? Yes, you can, like, until or unless you develop your own thought process, till then you can watch a video, because editorials may you have to develop your own conclusions. If you don't have that much strength right now because you are a fresher, develop a thinking from a video you watch, and later on you can develop your own taste. Well, Midul, I will suggest that you have to read NCRT at least, then shift to any like academy book. Amal, that's integrity is inbuilt. Yes, there are, like, economy is there, commerce background is commerce is as an optional is there. No, if you know the percentage which topper gets, most of the topper in exam get 55 to 60% marks. So there is nothing like there is a passing marks. It's just that list of mathematics book optional books. Well, for that you have to go through Google. I don't have that much matlab knowledge about maths. Okay, how to learn internal security? Okay, internal security, you can go through any fine, like our academy book is good enough. You can go through it, you will be able to sail through. Every year there is only hardly one question, and that question only comes from matlab that question can be answered from our booklet, so don't worry about it. Yes, we cover each and every source. We cover each and every source. You can watch it on our YouTube sessions. Best book for history as a GS subject, you can go with Spectrum, Bipin Chandra. Those two books are good enough. Yes, you can get optional class also. Don't worry about it. Well, there are n number of books. If you are asking me a good book, I will say Spectrum and Bipin Chandra. Look, at least prepare for 6 months and see yourself whether you fits in this situation or not. Else don't quit your job. Yeah, that will be sufficient most of the time. But for current affair, you have to merge things. Like, you have to relate things. That will be possible if you are interacting with us. How many questions should be answered, sir? In prelims or mains, you are talking about? For accounts, I don't know about accounts. Sorry. UPSC main syllabus is there. There is no syllabus for prelims. For prelims, at least attempt 60 to 70 question minimum. If you are dead sure about 55 question you are correct, then don't attempt any further. If you have a dicey situation, go for this. There are 100 questions in prelims. Mock tests are simple. Just read the topics which are given in mock test and then try for it. So I hope almost all the doubts which were left behind, I have covered each and every doubt. So thank you very much for this great session. Let's join hand together and achieve a great height. You can be your own dreams version by working hard and smart in this race. Thank you. Thank you very much.